Hello, hello, welcome, welcome. How's everyone doing today? Hopefully, everyone's doing fine and dandy. How's everyone been? Welcome, welcome, everyone. I just want to say, originally I was gonna plan to draw tonight, but ended up well, I had to do some some errands and my water bottle spilled in my car, so that pretty much ruined my entire mood, and I just say that ruined my urge to draw. So yeah, how's everyone been? Doing okay? Alright. I'm only gonna watch some YouTube reactions for a few hours. There's that. Ah, neck crack. Ooh. Anywho, I believe I'm just gonna make up that draw the art stream for. Hi Blitzy, how are you? Welcome, welcome. Um, and welcome everyone who's just joining. As I was saying, I did some errands today. When I got home, I realized my water bottle spilled in my car, so that ruined my entire mood to even draw in the first place. So I'm gonna have like a kind of like a makeup art stream next week on Monday. I don't usually do it on Monday, but Monday, Tuesday. Right. Oh, Friday. Sorry, I meant Friday. I don't usually do it on Friday, but I have a makeup art stream on Friday just to make up for it. But how's everyone been? Welcome, welcome. How are you doing today? We're gonna be doing some YT reactions and just chatting for a few hours, just to chill. And how's everyone's day? Doing well? Doing well?
Problem. A time
I also had
problem.
dinner.
Ever heard that one before? The faster you beat a level, the greater your time bonus is. Since a bigger point count takes longer time to count down, this means that it can take longer in real time to move on to the next level if you beat the previous one fast enough than if you just waited a few more seconds for a lower time bonus. That doesn't sound very fun or in the spirit of speedrunning now, does it? Thankfully, there's an obvious solution. Just use the in-game timer, and the sum of each level's timer is your final time. It's completely foolproof, is what I would say if that pesky pause button didn't exist. Last year,
Ooh.
I made a video on how speedrunners abused pause buffering in Sonic 2 to get faster times. What started out mainly as a technique used for one trick in Metropolis Zone eventually spiraled out of control, to the point where the classic Sonic speedrunning community voted to change how the speedrun should be timed. Interestingly enough, while Sonic 2, 3, and Knuckles had moved away from using the in-game timer, Sonic 1 runs continue to use the in-game time.
Eh? You should never eat the lemon. You should never eat lemon or lime skin, ever. You know why? Because it has oils in it, and if you too much if you use too much of those oils on your food, you're gonna get sick from it. So of course, and the oils from if you like rub the skin on food, it's a bit diluted. If you eat the skin whole, you're gonna get yourself sick because that is highly concentrated acidic oil. Never, never eat the skin of a lime or lemon ever. All right, that's more of a safety precaution. Pardon. E. Oh, I almost forgot. Hold on. Hold on real quick. I almost forgot my. Oh, I have worse. No, don't say that. I almost forgot to take my meds. Oh, I almost forgot to take my meds. I started streaming like, oh shit! I didn't realize. Oh shit! Yeah. Hold on. I'll just have the video playing for a minute. All right.
as the primary metric on the leaderboard, despite theoretically having the same pausing problem as those games. Surely, that means that Sonic 1 doesn't suffer from the excessive pause buffering. Right? Right? Oh no. It didn't used to be this way. So, what's so powerful about pausing anyways? Well, at a base level, pausing in Sonic the Hedgehog allows you to frame perfectly buffered input on the controller. You pause the game, hold down or let go of your desired input, and upon unpausing, that input will come out on the next frame, or in the case of letting go, will cease that input on the next frame. This can come in handy for making a quick maneuver in a tight spot, or as you'll soon see, some very broken glitches. These include zips and level wraps. Take Marble Zone Act 2 for example. This was one of the first level wraps to be implemented in a full game run, notably in TNT's viral 1303 world record set in 2012. It was consistent enough to where you can get it without pausing. In fact, for the longest time,
I'm back.
there was no trick used in the speedrun that required pausing. This was in stark contrast to its sequel, Sonic 2, where pause buffering had been used to perform the Metropolis Act 3 level wrap since 2012.
But it's a scratcher. Are you good? You need headpats? Do you want to be called a good boy, good girl?
Sonic 1 lacked this for the longest time, but then, in 2019, one of the biggest discoveries in the game had put a definitive end to the pauseless meta. Even with pauses, it was by far the most difficult trick in the run by a wide margin, and skipped one of the game's most infamous stages, Labyrinth Zone Act 3.
I hate that.
Labyrinth Act 3, or Lab 3 as I'll be referring to it from now on, is the longest level in the game casually. It's slow, confusing, and dangerous.
I played Sonic 1 all the way through. I hate Labyrinth Zone 3. I hate that. Also, Blitzy, you're good, Blitzy.
So, what if you could just skip all of it? On July 2nd, 2013, TNT's tool-assisted speedrun of
Lol. Did you get your wisdom teeth removed? Did you get your wisdom tooth removed?
Sonic 1 would
Hey chat, if you had claustrophobia, wouldn't you be afraid of your own mouth?
be published on TAS Videos, a website where TASes, which are speedruns recorded in an emulator using Frame Advance and other external tools, are uploaded to. TASes are a separate classification from real-time speedruns performed live by a human, and as a result, TASes are far faster and often show tricks that you wouldn't see in a human run. The Lab 3 level wrap was one of these TAS-only tricks, and was first implemented in the July 2013 TAS. It wouldn't be until 20...
How? Okay, so question: Did you get Did you get it removed early, or did you get it removed while you were far into pain from the wisdom tooth? I'm happy you got your wisdom tooth removed. For me, I got my when I was around 18, my one time I was at a dentist, and they're doing a checkup on me, and they realized, hey, Randy, your wisdom tooth looks like it's about to come out. Would you like to remove it? You have to remove early. Alright, yeah. I give you hugs. You're you're good. You're good, Blitzy, and I'm proud of you. And I was saying, at a time my wisdom tooth wasn't even like out. It was still in under my gums. So like, doc, dentist, please just remove my wisdom tooth right now. Remove. So here's the thing. It was four with. There's. I had all four wisdom teeth removed at once. And the thing is, the method they used, they had to dig into my gums and extract all four wisdom teeth. And they stitched together. They told me what to do, whatnot. Yeah. Here's the thing. I don't trust laughing gas or anything like that. I because I was afraid I would say something that would pretty much either get me beat up later or get me kicked out of the house because my parents wasn't really that supportive of LGBT. So I said, "Hey, just numb my mouth. I'll deal with the pain later." Here's the thing with and the numbing anesthetic. So they inject a neurodepressant into my muscle, so it'll stop because it stopped me from feeling the pain of the surgery. And what it did stop me from feeling the actual pain. However, the pressure from getting my each tooth extracted separately, I could feel the pressure, and the pressure hurt. The pressure hurt. But I didn't feel actual pain. It's a weird kind. It's not pain, but at the same time, it is like a weird form of pain because I'm not actual pain, but I can feel it. It was weird. But yeah, for like a week and a half, I was on ibuprofen just to make sure. And here's lol. Oh, that's fucking funny. Anyway, here's the thing with I took so I had my alarm set for every 4 hours to take ibuprofen. And even I had this alarm in the middle of sleep. I had an alarm go off, take ibuprofen, to go back to sleep. Yeah, I was like the entire time. Of course, you don't know what happened. You got your tooth. You won't remember what happened, but you got your wisdom teeth extracted. But yeah, for the week and a half, I was on ibuprofen. There's only one time I accidentally missed a dose, and I felt the fucking pain. It was pain. It was so much pain. So I had to take ibuprofen and just endure the pain until the ibuprofen kicked. And it's like, oh, thank goodness, thank fucking goodness, thank goodness it's over. I don't want to ever feel that again. Holy fucking shit. Holy fucking shit. But yeah.
17, when 𝙂𝙗, another prominent tasser, would find a setup that was
Also, I have a bag of Lay's chips.
humanly possible, albeit with great difficulty. The Lab 3 wrap involves 3 separate zips. The first uses this cork to clip out of bounds. By teetering off the furthest pixel off the left side of the cork, Sonic will clip into the wall as it falls down. While clipping, you have a small window to hold right for a few frames, then release and jump on the frame Sonic hits the wall to zip through. You then need to tap right for either 3 or 4 frames to get into a position for the
Holy shit. And this is it. This is you'll You only have a few frames to do this. You don't have a second. You have a few frames to do this.
The second zip. This zip is the clip past the waterfall to the left. Clipping through the diagonal waterfall ground not only requires specific y-axis subpixel range, but also a specific x-axis subpixel range, subpixels being subunits of a full pixel. The x subpixels are manipulated by holding right for a few frames after jumping and bonking on top of this block part. After that, you zip and time a frame-perfect right input into a one-frame jump input, and then let go of right on the next frame to jump for one frame to clip past.
Huh? What the fuck? What kind of black magic fucker is this?
Both of these zips require intense pause buffering to properly line up Sonic and time the frame-perfect inputs, and there is almost no room for error. As if that wasn't bad enough, the zips are Y subpixel dependent as well, meaning if either your horizontal or vertical subpixel positions fell out of a specific range, you were doomed to fail. If somehow you managed to successfully nail 3 incredibly precise zips in a row, congrats! All you need to do for the last zip is tap right and jump, and then hold right after you land for the level wrap. The Lab 3 level wrap saves over 45 seconds, but with it being a multi-frame perfect, sub-pixel dependent trick that is barely possible without pausing, no one was eager to use this in runs. It wouldn't be until May 2017 when Worcester...
You're Alex with me. Oh yeah. I don't like them putting chemicals in water because they turn the freaking frogs gay. Do you understand that? Gay frogs. Frogs. I love that. I love this song. I want to actually play it on stream because copyright, but yeah.
became the first to hit the Lab 3 wrap in an individual level run after attempting the trick on and off for years. Dang, if it took one man years to hit it just for an IL, you would have to be incredibly nuts to go for it in a full game run. But if you've been around the speedrunning community long enough, this is a tale as old as time. You just know that someday, someone, somewhere is gonna open Pandora's box. And for Sonic 1, that day was February 11th, 2019.
Damn, you should have waited for 3 days to say he loved Sonic. Yeah. It is, to me, it is second to the CUM song by, I forget his name, but it's a lot of CUM puns. And I guess what takes third place is an awful furry rap.
On that day, a Sonic speedrunner named 𝙂𝙚𝙤𝙬𝙧 had recently picked up Sonic 1, and along with another runner, 𝙬𝙀, began innovating the full game run by going for IL and task strats. During this session, 𝙂𝙬𝙤 had lost a bunch of time in Lab 1, and was still far behind his PB heading into Lab 3. As a last-ditch effort to save the run, he went for the zips. And this is what happened.
Then it'll give you a good idea of what you're in store for.
What the fuck?
The stroking is...
Yeah.
Look what I got, look what I got.
Oh hell yeah, here it goes, dude. Lab 3. Are you kidding me?
Oh my god!
He got it.
Oh my god, let's go, man. Wait.
This was the first time that the Lab 3 level wrap was hit in a run, and even though this particular run didn't pan out, runners were very excited, and more serious about this trick than ever. This wasn't without some controversy, however, for reasons that are very obvious. The pausing. A lot of runners were disappointed that now that the top runners were going for the Lab 3 wrap and runs, pausing was now a necessary evil to get a very good time. A month later, on March 16, 2019, 𝙂𝙚 achieved a new world record of 1044. Obviously thanks to Lab 3 Rep. Hey, wait a minute, what happened? He didn't get it? Then what did he do? Oh, that. This is the Scrap Brain 2 rap, and this was the first record to feature this trick. Now, just to be clear, the Scrap 2 rap is
This is all kinds of insane.
significantly easier compared to Lab 3, but you saw that, right? Yep, that was a pause. This level rap is still pretty precise where you really should pause. At the start, you have to jump on a specific frame onto this cog. 𝙂𝙚 chose not to pause for the jump, but chose to pause before landing on the cog to perfectly time the down input, as after 5 full revolutions on the cog, jumping off on the correct frame clips you out of bounds, and from there, you can wrap around to the end. But here's the twist. You finish the level out of bounds, and if you can't get back in bounds, you soft lock. So what's the best way to reliably clip back in? That's right, pause buffering 2 more frame-perfect inputs. Fun! Thanks to that level wrap, 𝙂𝙚 set the first sub-11 with his 1044, a sizable time cut over the previous record that makes you wonder what could have been had 𝙂𝙚 hit the Lab 3 rap. Both the Lab 3 and Scrap 2 raps are among the hardest tricks in the run, so it got people wondering, when
Oh, that's an interesting interesting concept for a hell of a boss of C. I mean, if your OC is good enough, they they may feature in hell of a boss. I think I've seen 1 or 2 OCs that actually made it into hell of a boss. But yeah.
would someone hit both in a run? 10 days. Just 10 days later, on March 26th, 𝙂𝙚 hit both of them, lowering the world record down to 10:06. And people were pissed. The Lab 3 rap finally being in a world record easily rubbed some people the wrong way. The excessive pausing on top of the high difficulty led many people pushing to ban the trick. That didn't end up happening, but now with Lab 3 and the pause buffered movement to clip back in bounds in Scrap 2 after the timer had already stopped, this was an issue that could no longer be overlooked. It was actively dividing the community. A vote needed to be held. In mid-2019, Kick-Ass Pancakes ran a poll for the Classic Sonic leaderboard moderators to decide, should we continue to use the in-game timer, or should we move to real-time attack minus the time bonus countdown time, RTA minus time bonus, not just for Sonic 1, but also Sonic 2. In the end, after it was all said and done, RTA minus time bonuses had narrowly won. With this survey, a decision was made. Sonic 1 and 2 would continue to use the in-game time. Wait, what? But in-game time lost the vote! What gives? Well, consider the following. While there were more votes in favor of switching timing methods, a good 10% of the voters were undecided or indifferent, and yes, didn't even gather half of the votes. This was not a convincing enough majority to sway the moderation team, and thus, the status quo had been maintained. For now. As for the pause abuse, it became rampant. At the end of the year, 𝙂𝙗 had gotten the first world record under 10 minutes, a well-earned accomplishment and a monumental milestone in the game's history. But damn, he was pausing even more than 𝙂𝙚 did. In addition to the Lab 3 and Scrap 2 level raps, there was lots of pause buffering on a new Marble 1 zip, Spring Yard 3 zip, and the Starlight 3 level rap. The year is now 2020, and the competition is really heating up between 2 runners, 𝙂𝙗 and 𝙂𝙀69.
Yeah, I understand that, but Just focusing on your own seeds is more than enough. Hell, with all the LCs I made, I really hope to actually create my own like manga, anime, or like my own lore-driven universe. And having that be made in the first place would be phenomenal. Having that be picked up by like Glitch Productions, that'll be even more. That'll be amazing. Having it picked up by like Amazon Prime, Netflix, that'll be fantastic. Even though it'll be bad on pure wise, but yeah.
Joey would steal the record from 𝙂𝙗 with a 940 on May 14th, using more or less the same strats as the previous record. 5 months later, and 𝙂𝙗 struck back with a staggering.
Honestly, if you can make your own, lore driven universe, and manage to profit off of it, that would be the biggest flex ever.
Improvement of 914. He had a new trick up his sleeve, the slope glitch in ScrapBrain 1. By looking up to make a platform Sonic is standing on become invisible, you could perform a frame-perfect jump to gain a glitch state that stores the angle of the last piece of ground Sonic is standing on, which breaks the collision completely, allowing you to walk on invisible slopes in midair, and it can get you out of bounds. The slope glitch was already used to skip all of ScrapBrain 3, but thanks to a discovery by 𝙂𝙚𝙬𝙚, the slope glitch was found to work on ScrapBrain 1, and foes used it to zip through most of the stage. With pausing, of course. And that...
I have a fairly solid plan, but it's gonna take a while though.
wasn't all. In 2021, runners began implementing the Green Hill 2 level wrap, an IL strat that had been known for a while, but wasn't done in runs due to a very high chance of failure from grazing a def plane that rises with the camera. However, another player, the new era Sonic prodigy 𝙂𝙚𝙧𝙖𝙀, discovered that by pause buffering and then pressing right in frame-perfect locations when the screen wraps by a tunnel near the end of the stage, this made the wrap remarkably more consistent and viable for full game runs. This was then used by Joey Baby in his world record of 902. Dang, that's another minute barrier just around the corner, and probably even more pausing.
Oh,
How
wow.
much lower could the run possibly go? The year is 2022, and in the Sonic speedrunning community, there was a true conqueror that took the classic trilogy by storm. The previously mentioned 𝙂𝙚𝙧𝙀. And they pulled out all of the stops, all of the pauses, and the first sub-9 minute run. They set 5 Sonic 1 world records in 2022 alone, all the way down to a ridiculous 836, which includes some absurd pause buffering in Spring Yard 1 for precise movement, and in Spring Yard 2 for zips. Now, this was getting a bit ridiculous, because now we have reached the point where both the first and second place times were sub-9 in-game time, but nearly a minute slower than Joey's 902 in real time. This was not like 2019, where pausing was required for tricks like the Lab 3 wrap, but the real time was still reasonably proportional to in-game time. However, as more difficult tricks were added to an already brutal run, it's no wonder that the rate of pause buffering ballooned out of control. It may have been several years overdue, but in March 2025, Sonic 1 speedrunners held a nearly unanimous vote to switch the timing method of their runs from in-game time to real-time minus time bonuses. With only one dissenting vote, the community, soured by the unmistakable inaccuracies of in-game time and influenced by the Sonic 2 timing change from the prior year, made this decision to switch to RTA minus time bonuses a no-brainer. This, of course, retroactively orphaned 𝙂𝙚𝙧𝙀's and foes' PBs, and Joey's former world record of 902 from 2021 now a 1404 under RTA minus time bonuses, is the official world record as of making this video. Now, when this happened with Sonic 2 in 2024, 𝙂𝙚𝙣𝙚 also lost the record, but quickly adapted and reclaimed it. So why? Why hasn't anyone beaten Joey again? It's simple. The run is that brutal. Not only is Lab 3 a notorious run killer, but some of the newer strats like Springyard 2 zips just weren't seen as worth it.
Ooh, that's actually cool. Sounds like a rock band. And for mine, right now I'm not gonna say the actual name. But right now it's under the name Project Crimson. That's the alpha title, but I'm not sure what the actual title is gonna be.
It's not to say the run hasn't seen some new developments in response to the timing methods changing. Runners are adapting by pausing less and less for tricks like Green Hill 2 Wrap and Scrap Brain 2 Wrap. And I'm very interested to see how Sonic 1 runners continue to adapt with less reliance on that dang old pause button. Special thanks to Joey Baby, Fozon, Zaxxon, and Sega Junkie for their help with research and proofreading my script. Links to their channels are in the description below. Thanks again to 𝙂𝙀 for editing this video, and thank you so much for watching, and remember to
My God. Let's see here. DD. All right. All right. Y'all want to subscribe to them? Well, I'm subscribing to all of them. Because why not? You gotta support everyone who worked on this. Sega Junkie. All right. See here.
Hello, welcome to this again. As of uploading this video, Windows 10 is officially dead.
Welcome
Patch Note
back.
Extended supports with
Oh yeah, Windows Extended support is officially dead. Well, Windows support the actual Windows is dead. Also, YouTube, why did you fucking look? The icons are different. The icons are different here. The play button up here is large as fuck. This just looks ugly. I was tolerating the actual change before this, but like, nah, fuck this shit.
Technically, it's on life support, so for the purposes of this video, Windows 10 is dead. So I thought it'd be fun to go through a couple beta builds of Windows 10, going from when it was still basically just Windows 8, all the way up until its RTM release. And the earliest build of Windows 10 that we have available is build 9780. Now with most beta versions of Windows, they have a time bomb in it so that you can't use it past a certain date. So if you want to use them, you have to set the BIOS date to something before that time bomb. This one's 2014, and we'll do 0625. Alright, and I have a USB stick with the build here. Also, can I just say, having a mouse cursor in this era of BIOS? Strange. I would like to save changes and exit,
Ooh.
and I should be able to boot off the USB stick.
Honestly, it looks like these buttons are just trying to call us little babies and that are stupid.
Cool. It's not there. That's nice. Okay. That is probably because, first off, secure boot needs to be off. Second, we're gonna turn on CSM and make sure secure boot is still off. Okay. Okay, there it is. Up. Okay. God damn it. This is the network boot thing, and that means it failed to boot off the USB stick, which is nice, which is real fun. I don't want to be in here. Off to a great start. I can't even boot off the USB stick. Okay, let me try a different USB stick. Maybe that'll work. All right, I have a different USB stick now that I also
Now, can you USB stick it in me?
formatted differently, so I'm hoping that this one actually boots. Hell yeah, alright. Alright, so as you can see, it's still being labeled as Windows 8. I haven't even updated the copyright. There's also a big ol' Microsoft confidential thing down here. Yep, install it. So this is basically just gonna be Windows 8. Alright, and now we wait. Shouldn't take too long, hopefully, to install. Alright, we're restarting. I need to make sure it doesn't boot off the USB stick. Do it off the SSD, please.
I guess you can say the beta build of Windows 10 was actually Windows 9.
Does it usually fade in like that? Oh, we're in widescreen now. Nice. Oh shoot. Damn it, it's gonna try booting off the USB stick. Damn it. Ugh, you gotta tell me when you're rebooting. Alright, damn, that installed really fast. I mean, it was just a USB stick and an SSD, so I mean, yeah, sure, let's use Express settings. Alright, I don't want to get new apps from the App Store. Alright, so that took 5 minutes. That took less than 5 minutes to install? Now, I don't know enough about Windows 8 to know if this start menu looks any different. It sure
It looks a little different. It looks like the aesthetic of Windows 7 in the Windows 8 format. That's what you need for Windows 10.
looks scuffed, to be honest. I never liked how, like, Windows 8 did, like, a mixed arrow / metro thing. That desktop icon, I've never seen that before. Was that a thing in Windows 8? That fade-in animation whenever you open a thing? Oh boy, what's in games? Oh my god, it's an Xbox 360. That's it's not finding anything, but yeah, that's just the Xbox 360 dashboard. Alright, can I get out of here, please? I should probably plug in my Wi-Fi thing. Oh, sound's working, apparently. But no networks, which I don't really need anyway, so. So basically, there's only hypothetical games in this operating system. This is apparently when they added the home folder to File Explorer, though. Alright, I don't want to dwell on this version for too long, so, on to the next one. Alright, this one is build 9900, and thanks. Clearly it didn't shut down. Either that, there's no way it just booted that fast. There's no way that wasn't in like sleep mode or something. Let me boot off the USB, damn it. Cool. So they've removed the Windows 8 branding, now it just says Windows. And I think it's a deeper shade of purple now, I might be wrong. And they've also updated the copyright text. I'm just gonna delete these two partitions. Alright, let's see how long this one takes. Alright, we're rebooting.
Then go to sleep. You don't need to force yourself awake. Alright. Enjoy your nap. Matinee.
Oh god, it's white. Well,
You
first
could listen to the stream while you're taking a nap, though.
off, it detected my Wi-Fi adapter. Second, why is it so bright? It still has purple. Ah, okay, alright, yeah, it couldn't even connect anyway. You know, we're gonna use customize this time because man is this different. Man, Microsoft actually cared about privacy at one point. Sent a do not track request to websites and then they automatically turned off the telemetry data. Oh, okay, yeah, no, there's still a bunch of this stuff. Finalizing here, and there it goes. I'm assuming this part hasn't changed, other than maybe the store part. Never mind, you can still get new apps from the store.
Alright, enjoy your nap, though.
Alright, so as you can see, this is when, you know, the Windows 10 UI started to get put together. It's still got the old recycle bin, though. And man, that file explorer icon, I don't know why, that does not look that good. Oh, it's got a different fade-in animation now. The desktop icon looks even more different. There's some changed icons over here, but there's still, you know, a bunch of arrow ones. It's still got, like, you know, the centered names from Windows 8, and the start menu looks the same. Okay, what the hell is the Windows Journal? The Journal Note Writer Print Driver? Sure, okay. Cool. Does games work? No. No, it does not. And so yeah, now they're properly calling it Windows 10, except I think I think this logo is a bit brighter than it usually is. Let's see, can I? Oh, hell yeah. Can't do this in Windows 11. Why is there a dedicated frown button? It's a report website problems button. Okay. Also, apparently there's tablet mode in this. So if I do Shift Windows that key, yeah, I would like to switch to tablet mode. Okay, that is interesting. So you can't have windowed windows. You can just have them in sections. Except for sticky notes. You can still have sticky notes everywhere. And you can't like put anything in the corner if you have more than 2 apps open. It's always only 2. You can only have 2. Oh wait, there's 2 search bars. Okay. No, I'm good. No, I'm good. Is this just Cortana but worse? Yes. This is certainly a settings window. It's got 2 title
It is a settings window indeed.
bars. Some settings are managed by your system administrator. Some Windows features are only available using a Microsoft account. Man, they've been pushing this for a long time. Do we have any other wallpapers? No. Okay, we have these. That's. Oh yeah, let's see the lock screen. It's just the Windows 8 lock screen. Okay. Why is there a battery indicator? Okay. Alright, on to the next one. Alright, this next build is 10005, which I honestly don't expect to be too different from the one that we just looked at, but I guess we'll find out. Yeah, so far the setup looks the same. I kind of wish the Windows 10 builds had the special wallpapers that said, like, you know, hey, don't leak the shit. I guess clearly that didn't work, so they just, you know, gave up. Oh jeez, it's bright again. Can I at least connect to the internet this time? No, okay. I have a feeling this is gonna look the exact same as last time. Yeah, it's the same. The store's even still here. And we're in. Oh, it's purple now. That's fun. So they've definitely updated some of the UI, like the file explorer icon is, I'm pretty sure, still not the final one, but those icons. I mean, the title bar looks a lot more, you know, Windows 10-like. It just looks odd. Does the store? Yeah, no. Oh, the start menu's different. How does this look?
Space. Hello. Hello. How are you? Currently doing YouTube reactions. I was gonna do art stream, but like, I had to do what was it? I had to do errands, and then my water bottle spilled in my car. It just ruined my entire mood. I'm doing a makeup art stream on Friday though.
More like Windows 8 than the Windows 8 one.
How you been? Doing good?
It definitely looks closer to the Windows 10 one though. Can we games yet? No. Oh, there's the Xbox app now. Great. Sure.
Great.
There's just a sign-in button. That's it. And it's not even going to be able to sign in because, you know, the Wi-Fi isn't working. What about the music app? Who are you? Xbox Music?
Huh? I didn't know that was a thing. Wait a minute. Is that a thing on Xbox? Or is it a beta build thing? And the beta thing just they didn't really implement it because Spotify. Wait a minute, that icon there. Did they have partnership with Spotify?
Hello, dead mouse. Since when was there an
Ooh. I wish you good luck and I hope you enjoy your time. Wah. Obviously there's gonna be no stream tomorrow because I'm working late. Yeah. Also, um, enjoy your time. What are your plans?
Xbox Music? I would really want to try that, but you know, I'm not online. Can it like at least play, you know, local files?
No thanks.
And it's offline, so it can't do anything. Yeah, there's both store and store beta. Windows Media Player's still here. Hell yeah. Yep, Cortana's still here. Okay. No, I'm good. No, I'm good. Just get me to WinVer, please. Yeah, that's WinVer. What does the settings look like? The settings look the same. Oh, and the recycle bin's still like this. Windows Technical Preview.
Ooh.
Whoa. We got new wallpapers. They might have been in the other ones, they just are in here instead. Flowers. Wow. Oh, it's pink now. Alright,
Oh,
high
that's cool.
contrast. Hell yeah. Oh
Ooh,
god,
dark.
that's worse.
Ah.
That is... The start menu just doesn't work anymore.
Just hanging out probably. Aw, cute. Also, yeah, I really do hope you enjoy your time with stuff at that stuff. Hey.
Oh no, it does. They
Oh yeah, space. I am off on Thursday. I am available on Thursday to do any collab to do collabs. When?
They made it so that this works with the high contrast. Okay, alright. Next build, next build. Alright, this next build is 10130, and it is the last build I have before Windows 10 fully released. Alright, so the setup looks the same again, except now instead of, you know, all the confidential stuff, it just says evaluation copy. Custom, delete these, and we're off. Oh, it's blue now. You can also connect by pushing the button on your router? What? No, you can't. Is that a thing you can do? Oh, hey, I was
Huh?
actually able to connect to the internet. I want to customize settings. No, 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 no.
Oh, that's okay. I would do my normal coding, Minecraft story mode, and Minecraft stream. Maybe some some little retro game as well.
No, 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 no,
Ooh.
no, no. So it's been on just a moment for a little longer than a moment. I'm just gonna like force shut it down and then just turn it back on. Oh, a component of the operating system has expired. There's a chance that me connecting to the internet, you know, updated the date in the BIOS, which made the time bomb go off. That's exactly what it did. Alright. Let's see if it boots now. Hey, what? Just like skip. Why is it white again? It's,
Oof.
oh, okay.
I'll be my grandpa. Ooh, alright. That actually sounds fun. A lot of work though, but sounds fun. But yeah. I wonder if I wonder if design I wonder if uh I wonder if Zaya will be able to do a collab and try out the horror my try out no moon that jar. I'll probably ask. That's the name.
Okay, I think there's something seriously messed up with this installation. But hey, we're in. This is the insider preview, and the licensing UI can't load. A required certificate is not within its validity period when verifying against the current system clock or timestamp in the signed file. That means it's because it fucking messed with my time and date again. I'm removing your internet privileges. You're breaking everything. I can't even adjust the date and time. Is everything just broken because it's downloading the alarm and clock? What the f? Well,
What?
this definitely looks a lot, more like the Windows 10 start menu that I know, or at least RTM Windows 10 start menu. The calculator just doesn't.
Yeah. If if you could lurk in the stream. Yeah. All right. Yes, means if you have to go to sleep, then go to sleep.
Work. Nothing works because the time and date is set correctly. The File Explorer icon finally figured itself out, I think. And also the icons, look correct now. What is Project Spartan? Ugh. Okay, I'm gonna
is
reboot
Sparta.
this. Let me fix the BIOS date again. Oh, that certainly isn't the Windows 10 thing. Oh, they are. Install a new version of Windows now. This build of Windows has expired, so your PC will restart every few hours and eventually will fail to start. Okay. Hey, they updated the recycle bin finally. Can I at least open things now? I can. Does Project Spartan work now? It's just Microsoft Edge. Yeah, it's, yeah. Cortana is a bit more finalized. I'm in. Okay.
Ooh.
Alright. Oh, it's just asking me to enable everything that I disabled. Oh, the settings is a bit, more Windows 10 like. Do we have that one solitaire thing yet? Yes, we do! Oh god, the game bar's here now? Oh, it is here. News from Microsoft Solitaire Collection. Need internet connection. Okay. You can finally do something. Never mind, there's nothing here. Other than regular solitaire. Oh man, they got transparency now. That's fun. If I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how to play solitaire. So, oh man, and we got the proper, notification center. Does tablet mode? Oh, whoa. Tablet mode is, not working properly.
Oh
because,
god, what's happening with
I can't
tablet
get to,
mode?
half my stuff. But it is tablet mode. If I, open something, I don't want to be an Xbox. Okay, now I can see my stuff. This calculator just opens. So yeah,
Jesus
that's
Christ.
the thing now. Can I turn it off, please? Thank you. All right, now let's head over to the first official full release of Windows 10 that was released over 10 years ago. Yep, the setup looks the same, except, there's no build number down here anymore because, this is an official public release. Alright, I forgot that RTM Windows 10 setup, was different than the one that we have today. Let's see, is it gonna say anything about the store? I don't think it did last time. Yeah, no. Alright, and as you can probably tell, the biggest difference is the wallpaper is finally here. Apparently it's an evaluation copy. Okay. Oops. So yeah, this is the first full release of Windows 10. Calculator looks a little bit different. All the UI is mostly finalized. Edge is here. Music looks the same. It's not Xbox music anymore.
Ooh,
Now
it's
it's
not
just
really,
music.
yeah.
Phone companion. Huh? And it's gone.
Oh yeah, I remember that. It does exist with Windows 11. It's just basically what the phone companion does is you can connect your phone to your PC through Bluetooth and act like an NFC key for your PC. And if you step out away from the range of your PC, it'll automatically lock your PC.
Nice one. Alright, Cortana's here still. Still doesn't, work at the moment. Settings looks the same. Oh yeah, we have all the iconic wallpapers. Colors. Oh yeah, the lock screen should be proper now. Yeah, they made a darker version of this for the lock screen? That's cool. So yeah, that's about it. And 10 years later, Microsoft is forcing everybody to use Windows 11, which, it makes sense. The operating system is 10 years old. But also, I really don't like a lot of the things that they're doing in Windows 11. I'm still using Windows 11, because I don't really have a choice. So yeah, RIP 11. I'm still using Windows 11, because I don't really have a
Save while I'm editing on Mac. Save while I'm editing on Mac.
choice. So yeah, RIP, I guess.
Yeah, RIP.
Probably aren't the first ones that come to mind. It lives in the shadows of 2D Mario, 3D Mario, Mario Kart, or even the other Mario RPG series, Paper Mario. But even though Mario and Luigi speedruns are more underground, one fact remains. These games are broken, and Superstar Saga speedruns are especially broken.
What the fuck?
The origins of Superstar Saga speedruns date back to 2005 on the Speed Demos archive forums, where players would discuss potential strategies and routes for the game to see if it had potential for a good speedrun. Early routes of the game were quick to establish the importance of getting the mush badges from the shop in Little Fungi Town. Powerful badges that, when equipped, increase your POW stat based on how many mushrooms you have in your inventory. This effect, when combined with high DPS bros attacks, such as Chopper Bros and Advanced Knockback Bros, took down late-game bosses faster than you could say, "I have Fury." On July 19th, 2006, these efforts culminated in a 29-part segmented speedrun by Dragon Dark in 3 hours and 26 minutes. A very respectable time for a glitchless run, even by today's standards. But that was the real kicker. Dragon Dark's run may have exploited the overpowered mush badges later in the run, and they clearly put a considerable amount of effort into routing the game. But the game was not broken. At least, not yet. While Superstar Saga lay dormant on the RTA side for several years after Dragon Dark's run, further advancements would be made by tool-assisted speedrunners heading into the 2010s. On sites such as TAS Videos, some of the first glitch discoveries were documented here, including a primitive version of wall clipping using Luigi's Thunder Hand found by Kazooie. These clips didn't really amount to much until 2010, when a much more powerful method of clipping was discovered, the Fire Dash glitch. In late 2010, a Superstar Saga task would be published in 6 parts on the Japanese video sharing website Nico Nico by the tasser Kurikinton. The task clocked in at 3:07:45 and was mostly glitchless. But towards the end of the run, the first major skip in the game's history would be shown off, Bowser Castle skip. Exclusive to the Japanese version, the Fire Dash glitch involves Mario using Firebrand on Luigi as the latter is close to a ledge. This causes Luigi to fall off the ledge without Mario, and when Luigi begins to walk around, both brothers enter a glitch state that alters how they interact with collision. This glitched state was used to enter the end of the escape sequence, allowing for direct access to the final boss, skipping the entirety of Bowser Castle, saving over 20 minutes. Unfortunately, no surviving footage of this task is available, but the glitch would be replicated and properly understood by the protagonist of this story, 𝙂𝙚𝙣𝙚𝙖𝙗. 𝙂 is a German speedrunner and tasser who mainly focuses on Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games. Ever since 2007, 𝙂 had expressed interest in creating a task for the game, but initially abandoned the idea due to boredom and a lack of interesting strategies. The discovery of Bowser Castle skip, however, motivated 𝙂 to investigate Superstar Saga deeper. Interestingly, when he first replicated Bowser Castle skip, the game behaved as if the timer ran out, resulting in a game over. It was soon discovered that in order to avoid the scenario, you could activate a timer event where the timer is not guaranteed to reach 0, such as the surfing minigame in 𝙂𝙁 Ocean. This puts a non-zero timer address in the game's memory, and it will only reach 0 if you reset the game. With this problem solved, Bowser Castle skip saved around 20 minutes via the Fire Dash glitch. In addition, the Fire Dash glitch could be used to skip other sections of the game, such as most of Guarhar Lagoon and Joke's End. With over 30 minutes of potential time saved from a single glitch alone, 𝙂 was even more determined to find even more sequence breaks. And over the next 2 years, 𝙂 would work on and off finding new glitches, developing Lewis scripts, and brainstorming route ideas. Ultimately, these efforts paid off. Big time, as on December 8th, 2012, 𝙂 published a Superstar Saga task to YouTube. And this was the runtime. Whoa. 𝙂 had completely cracked the game. In a matter of 2 years, he single-handedly slashed nearly 2 hours off of Creakenton's 2010 task. Evidently, a majority of the game had been skipped. So how? What did Mug find that brought the time down this much? Let's just say a lot. And the key to it all was this barrel.
Do a barrel roll!
The first 45 minutes of Mug's task is basically glitchless up until Chucklehuck Woods, where after learning the Mini Mario and Luigi Dunk Bros moves, Mug enters this room containing a barrel for Luigi to enter via the Luigi Dunk. This is where the first glitch of the task comes to play, and it's responsible for the majority of the glitches. Barrel storage. By breaking the barrel with Luigi inside with Mario's hammer, and frame perfectly hopping on top of the barrel just as it's about to disappear, the broken barrel suddenly appears over Luigi again. When entering a different room, the barrel is successfully stored, as seen in the barrel icon over Luigi's action commands. This barrel can then be summoned back with these stored barrel commands. This is especially useful as on the Japanese version, barrel storage can be used to perform barrel clipping. While Luigi is in a glitched barrel from the barrel storage, the Mario Brothers have the ability to swap places when Luigi is barreled, something that you normally cannot do. This strange property allows you to clip past walls horizontally, which Mug used to leave Chucklehuck Woods with the stored barrel commands, and then again in the overworld to clip past these black rocks. These black rocks block access to these surfing spots, areas you're not supposed to reach until you obtain the Ultra Hammers after collecting the Beamstar pieces. But thanks to barrel clipping, Mug reached the surfing spots so he could surf to Oho Oasis, where Mario learns Firebrand, skipping most of Chucklehuck Woods and Woohoo University. This was a huge sequence break, yet what followed made early Firebrand look tame in comparison. Before I go any further, this is a flashing lights warning. If you are epileptic or sensitive to intense
Flashing lights
flickering,
warning.
viewer discretion is
It's
advised.
advised.
You see, Mug got Firebrand as a means to an end, not as a way to perform the now primitive Fire Dash glitch, but rather something far more powerful. In June of 2012, Mug discovered the seemingly useless Mini Mario glitch. By pounding Mario with Luigi's hammer to make him mini, you can lead small Mario into a hole to separate the brothers. Now, if you switch to Luigi and reunite with Mario, Luigi will move behind Mario and pound him back to normal size. However, Mug found out that you could jump with Luigi precisely close to Mario in a way to where instead of Luigi moving behind Mario to pound him, Mario will instead be the brother in the back. This allows Mini Mario to do things like pound Luigi into the ground, as well as other glitchy interactions, but was overall thought to be useless. It seemed that Mug hit yet another snag, but thankfully, just a few months later in October, Mug took a deeper look into the Mini Mario glitch, and in the process, discovered arguably the most powerful glitch in the game. The action command glitch.
What the fuck?
And it was all thanks to Mario's fire.
Welcome back. Konbanwa. How's your power nap? Did you have any yo-yo mayo? Sweet dreams?
Brand. Before becoming Mini Mario, if you have Mario select the hand action command while he's in the back, switch him to be in front so Luigi can make him mini, and then perform the Mini Mario glitch, the screen gets covered in pixel vomit as a result of glitched action commands. In this state, if Mario scrolls through action commands to get a glitched hammer and dunks Luigi with the glitched hammer, he will receive a glitched high jump when Luigi pops out of the ground, an action command he shouldn't have at all. When Mario performs this glitched high jump, you can press L or R to cycle through any action command on Mario or Luigi, including
What the
hundreds
fuck?
of glitchy garbage commands that are either useless or very useful. After Mug's task gets firebrand, the action
Good things. Aw, that's cute. Also, Mama gives you head pats. Here you go.
command glitch is performed, using Mario high jumps to give Mario an even glitchier hop-on barrel command. Unlike the barrel storage in Chucklehuck Woods, the barrel
Let's see here. Oh, hold on. Let me do this. I wonder if I could copy. I'll probably have to open up. Head pats. Very, very good head pats.
commands don't disappear when the barrel is broken. Rather, this glitched barrel command allows you to summon a glitched barrel on Luigi basically anywhere, opening up the possibilities for not just more barrel clips, but so much more. When Mario has this glitched hop-on barrel command when he's in the rear, you can cycle through his commands to get high jump again, meaning you can get any action command anywhere.
What the
task
fuck?
then death warps from 𝙂𝙀 Oasis back to Bean Bean Castle, and the glitchy barrel command still persists as long as a save isn't reloaded. From here, Mug barrel clips out of Castletown to the east and heads to 𝙂𝙀 Valley early to perform the Big Skip. 𝙂𝙀 Valley is visited a total of 3 times during the course of a normal playthrough. The first time, you're escorting Peach to Little Fungi Town on the other side of the desert. The second time is when you're searching for the Beanstar pieces, and finally, after completing Joke's End, where Luigi parachutes down from the Koopa Cruiser, landing underground in the desert, revealing a block that grants Mario access to an isolated area to the west that was previously inaccessible. In this area, you rescue Luigi and fight Popple and Birdo. Defeating this duo sets a flag for the endgame, opening up access to the final area, Bowser Castle. In the days following the discovery of the action command glitch,
Also, Blitzy, I do have a Discord server. You can feel free to join.
Mug theorized that if you could somehow make your way past this wall, you could fight Popple and Birdo early, and then reach the end of the game. Doing so would skip 2/3 of the entire game. But this posed a challenge. Barrel clipping would not work here, since it could only clip horizontally and not vertically. But as you probably guessed by now, Mug found a workaround. Hat teleporting. By high jumping on Luigi, you cycle through action commands until Mario gets a specific glitched hammer to dunk Luigi in the ground with. Then high jump onto the dunked Luigi in order to obtain glitch movement that, when used properly, allows you to clip through walls vertically, similar to the Fire Dash glitch. Using the hat teleport, Mug managed to skip over half
Hat Asler. Nice.
of the game, skip the entirety of Bowser's Castle, and defeat 𝙂𝙀 in 1 hour and 12 minutes. After looking for new glitches, writing Lua scripts, and routing on and off across a few years, Mug almost single-handedly broke the game in half, and created a mind-blowing task which showcased the new speedrunning potential Superstar Saga suddenly had. The question was, who would be brave enough to run the game? Well, initially, it was just Mug, who, in 2013, completed the first any percent run with glitches in 2 hours, 43 minutes, and 42 seconds. And it's since been lost to time. But what is known about this run is that it was littered with mistakes, including many deaths on the final boss. It left a lot to be desired, And although Mug never really ran the game RTA much, no one could undermine how he revolutionized Superstar Saga, and the game certainly wouldn't be where it is today without them.
Ooh.
By 2014, the groundwork laid out by Mug would inspire a new runner to tackle any percent: 𝙂𝙚𝙣𝙚𝙧. 𝙂𝙚𝙣𝙧 began
All the biscuit. All to be making biscuits.
and speedrunning Superstar Saga in February 2014.
Alright. Is it cute? It's good.
And within a matter of weeks, managed to bring the time below the 2-hour mark. And by March, he got a 1:36.51, his first run without any major mistakes. 𝙂𝙚 mostly followed the route Mug created, but with some tweaks. 𝙂𝙚 collected several coins, mushrooms, and various items throughout the run, deviating from the tasks in 𝙂𝙂 Valley to perform a hat teleport past Trunkle to reach Little Fungi Town in order to sell items and purchase the Mush Badge, which not only increases POW by 20, but also increases your flat damage output depending on how many mushrooms you have in your inventory. Otherwise, the damage output you'd have against late-game bosses like Birdo and Cacaletta's Soul would be pitiful, since you're so underleveled. Speaking of which, to this day, the final boss is by far the hardest part of the run. Harder than any of the action
Editor's first time play. Editor's POV first time play.
man glitches. Since you're so underleveled, mastering Chopper Bros mashing, dodging attacks, and preventing Cacaletta from doing slow and deadly attacks in the later phases is everything. This fight is often the reason you may hear runners of this game claim that any run that finishes is a good run. It's that brutal.
Oh my god, is that holy shit. Let me try it. I'm definitely not a mascot. Hi May. Hi. How are you? Welcome. How you been? Also, I get posted again, but I do have a Discord server. And also, as you may have noticed on my actual channel, YouTube channel, we do have a community tab. We do have a community post tab. So both of y'all and everyone is subscribed, and anyone subscribed can post whatever on it, as long as it's team. And that's good. You're good, Blitzy. You're good. And get well rested, alright? You don't have to force yourself awake, alright? Your sleep is important. Also, May, how's your day? Is your day good?
Even in a marathon setting, the best runners this game has ever had all died to the final boss. 𝙂𝙚𝙣𝙧 at SGDQ 2015, Mermilio at AGDQ 2018, and Tonkatsu in his race against Mikuram at RTA in Japan summer 2022,
No.
which ended up costing him the race. He did get his redemption at AGDQ 2024 though, with no deaths.
That's it.
Yes.
Let's go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so
On
cool.
top of all of this, you have to go through the entire run without saving until you reach the final save point.
What? Hold on. You had to go through the entire run without saving? What the fuck? Hold on. You have to go through the entire run without saving. That is fucked. That is so fucked. And I don't think I could even handle that. Because if I died once and if I'm mid-game or late game, I would be fucking pissed.
Otherwise, no Bowser Castle skip for you. Even with such a difficult speedrun, Alta was determined to push the game to its limits. Throughout 2014, he would continue to push the record lower and lower, and even stumble across even more time saves. By September, Alta had not only switched from running on the Game Boy player to the Wii U Virtual Console release for more efficient practice using restore points, but also switched from running on the Japanese version in favor of English. While English didn't have barrel clipping, workarounds for the tricks used in older routes were found. Instead of getting Firebrand from 𝙂𝙀 early, Alta temporarily gave Mario Firebrand in Chucklehuck Woods immediately after performing barrel storage using Sign Glitch, discovered by The Guest. Interacting with the sign after barrel storage gives Luigi action commands he shouldn't have, like Spin Jump. Much like High Jump on Mario, this is used to give Mario Firebrand, so that the action command glitch could be performed in Chucklehuck Woods, saving over 7 minutes. Alta also used the action command glitch to give Luigi Thunderhand to get super hammers early to break rocks in Teehee Valley,
That's actually
since
cool.
barrel clipping didn't work, as well as a new method of skipping the black rocks. However, the disadvantages of English are made up for thanks to a faster setup for the sign glitch than on JP, and the Mush Badge is both cheaper to buy, and the buffs to your damage output are about 60% greater. Another runner, 𝙂𝙚𝙣𝙚, would bring new optimizations to the table, including the red pepper strats for the Cackletta fight. Consuming a red pepper boosts attack power, but increases that brother's weight, making attacks harder to dodge. By intentionally killing Mario after he eats a red pepper, you keep the attack buff after being revived with a 1-up, but without the heavy status ailment. While in a vacuum, the final boss is much faster on JP because Cackletta's soul has 400 less HP than on English, which allows advanced knockback bros to one-cycle the boss, the Mush Badge buffs on English, combined with the red pepper, makes Chopper Bros incredible.
First, I hear someone racing down the street, and I hear someone else blasting music. It's fucking... It happens. This happens every fucking night. I don't know why.
Incredibly powerful. Enough to still two-cycle the boss without the need to grind for advanced knockback bros, saving several minutes. Ultimately, the switch to English and the new strats allowed Alta Biscuit to lower his PB down to a 120.12 by February 2015, just 1 year into running the game, and a run to this day he considers to be his cleanest with what was known at the time. He may have beaten it months later with the first 119, but to this day, it's certainly his proudest achievement in this game, and is still the fastest time submitted to SDA. World record accuracy be damned.
Damn.
Mug's tasks in 2012 and the route revisions made by new runners in 2014 form the blueprint that Superstar Saga speedrun routes still follow to this day. In the decade since the game was busted wide open, new strats and optimizations have been implemented, bringing the time lower than anyone could have imagined all those years ago. The game has since been released on Nintendo Switch Online, featuring more save state slots for practice, a faster frame rate than GBA, and a more accessible platform to obtain the PAL version, which Soric found Spanish to be 17 seconds faster than English, due to faster text boxes and a faster Bowser's Castle skip setup. Currently, the any% world record is a 1:11:32 by Mermilio, who not only has completely dominated any% for nearly 10 years straight, but managed to beat Mug's 2012 tasks in the process. This world record was set on March 2nd, 2023, and still remains uncontested 2 years later. The task has since been lowered under 1 hour. Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga is not a game that you would imagine to be super broken, but thanks to the hard work of a small but passionate community, the game transformed into one of the coolest, yet most underrated speed games in the entire Mario franchise. And what's even better is that Superstar Saga is far from the only broken Mario & Luigi game. I'd even go as far as to say that it's only the second most broken Mario & Luigi game. But that is a story for another time and play.
Oh, Dream Team. I played Dream Team on my own 2DS XL, and it is fucking it. I say I enjoy that game a lot.
Thank you to community members Potato.
All right. I wonder if he has Dream Team. I guess a video. Oh, so he hasn't uploaded yet? Upload that one? Oh, alright. Energy drinks really healthy. Ooh. Airplanes. I want to. I've been watching Vince Prince a long time, for quite a while, and I want to see his live stream. I didn't know he was live streaming this.
Ooh! Look at that chat, it almost crashed. But the game audio is fine, right? Everything's fine, mic fine. I forgot to ask that. Is the game too loud, or is it cool?
Okay,
Like,
this is pretty cool.
I'm gonna reach out to
Alright, what's going on with the stream here? Is the stream okay? Hold on. I just could watch all five lectures once on my phone, but like, no. Alright.
Energy drinks are bad for you, right? I mean, for as long as I can remember, they've been seen as one step away from toxic sludge reserved for late-night dungeon raids or a last resort for all-nighters in school. But now, the market has been taken over by Celsius and other healthy energy drinks that supposedly burn fat and provide mental clarity. Basically, make you better. But is it true, or is all of that just high-octane marketing?
It's basically, it could be taken as basically what again? What do you call it? Essential oils. Remedy oil is based. These quote unquote healthy energy drinks are basically remedy oils of the drink of the soda industry, energy drink industry.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Food Theory, the show that gives you all of the energy with none of the crash! Sorry. Whew, I'm just a little amped because apparently energy drinks are healthy now. I can't tell you the amount of Red Bulls and Monsters I've knocked back in my life. My early years of college are just a blur of organic chemistry and inorganic drinks fueling my brain and heart and taking them to limits they probably should never have gone to. I knew they weren't good for me. After all, anything that claims to give you wings probably isn't, but they were a necessary evil.
The claim to give you wings. Yeah, it will give you wings. On cloud 9.
When regular old coffee just wasn't enough. Since then, time has passed. Technology
I should say it will give you wings in heaven.
has gotten better, and the science of making hearts go boom boom with fizzy fizzles has advanced leaps and bounds.
Boom, boom, boom. I want you in my room.
Lately, I've been seeing a whole bunch of Celsius commercials on TV. I know what you're saying. Commercials? What? Listen, it's football season, which means 15 seconds of play and 3 minutes of commercials, rinsed and repeated for 3 hours. And I've seen this commercial no less than 23 times in the past 4 weeks.
First it's cardio, then it's a race against the clock. Refuel. I've got 48 to do in 24.
It's 4:49 a.m. Grab a Celsius, lock in. I've got a goal to hit and a deck to conquer. A party
Should I ditch the morning coffee and switch to a cool, crisp energy drink? Or are we all being duped? Energy drinks have been a huge part of the American drinks market.
Honestly. Okay, I had Monster a lot. Surprisingly, their nutrition value, they put a bunch of vitamins in it. Or supposedly vitamins. Maybe it's artificial vitamins, I don't know.
Market ever since Red Bull pushed the concept hard through international marketing starting in the late 90s. They weren't necessarily the first energy drink ever. Japan's Lipovitamin D in the 60s holds that honor, but they definitely became the first to dominate the globe. Diedrich Mateschitz, the co-founder of Red Bull, said that when they first started it, there was no existing market for Red Bull, but Red Bull would create it. And the Austrian business whiz was very right. Fast forward just about 30 years, and the US is spending $23.9 billion on energy drinks every year. That's over a third of the entire $65 billion a year soft drinks market. And don't get me wrong, the classics, Red Bull and Monster, they're still the top dogs. But now, healthy energy drinks have them doing the jealous girlfriend meme. Now, before we dive in, we need to get on the same page here. Because what is healthy when it comes to food? Health looks different from person to person, so how can we determine what makes a food healthy or not? I mean, an apple? Healthy. They even keep the doctor away. Or do they? We did a video, shameless plug. Mega stuffed Oreos? Not so healthy. But what lands them in their categories? Well, according to dietitians, they consider healthy foods ones that are as close to nature as possible. That would mean foods that aren't highly processed or adulterated, aka they don't have anything bad added or good removed. This pretty much removes all energy drinks. But that's no fun, and also kind of misses the point. Healthy is relative. Like, yeah, sure, energy drinks are never gonna top any top 10 lists of healthiest foods, but we're asking if Celsius and these healthy energy drinks are healthier than the classics. So we'll be looking at 3 things. Are they beneficial physically for people, beneficial mentally, and how clean are the ingredients? Celsius's whole brand really centers around happy, fit people. It's part of their Live Fit Go campaign. And if that's not an endorsement of physical benefits, I don't know what is. But let's take a closer look at their website. I mean, right there, bam, we see kettlebells, we see studies. One study for each of their supposed health benefits. Burns calories, is a bit vague, but it's definitely catchier than increases FF OG offerings, which have about 75% of the recommended value of sugar, meaning 1 can is almost all the sugar you should have in a day. Celsius doesn't use sugar, it uses sucralose. Sugar obviously has serious problems. Too much sugar intake can lead to diabetes, obesity, and heart disease. But it's not like some artificial sweeteners don't have their problems either. Fortunately, sucralose is one that the studies show is pretty safe. Sure, taking too much of it and it can lead to some potential health risks, but if you take it in moderation, generally safe, according to the folks at the FDA. There is one potential drawback. Artificial sweeteners may lead your body to crave more calories. See, in nature, sweet usually means your body is taking in plenty of calories. That was a good thing for our ancestors. With artificial sweeteners, your brain's reward system lights up, but it realizes it didn't take in calories, so it may try and get you hungry for more. Now, the research for that is pretty inconclusive overall, but the point is, probably best not to over. They say that caffeine is naturally present in more than 60 plants, which is true, they just don't use it. That's why these two aren't necessarily the best. There's a reason they tried a couple for on there. Today, we don't know how much of the 200 milligrams comes from.
Yeah, I was gonna like my ADHD just went haywire.
Could a child's simple prank drive nearly 1,500 adults to scour the mountains for months? Why did a graduation trip to a tropical island end with Marines combing beaches and F-6 through 9 miles to reach the Rangers? The following day, helicopters circled overhead, bloodhounds traced the ground, and soldiers joined Rangers and volunteers. More than 1,400 people spread across 56 square miles, the largest search in Smokies history. And yet, the greater the search, the less there was to find. The only trace appeared in mud, a set of child-sized footprints, one bare and the other in an Oxford shoe like the one Dennis had worn. They led to a stream and then disappeared, as if the boy had been swallowed whole by the wilderness. After that, the trail went cold. Days stretched into weeks. Nighttime temperatures dropped to 10 degrees Celsius by the wild animal. But William Martin was convinced his son had been taken. A family of hikers had ulterior motives. And although the FBI reviewed the hikers' report, the investigators ruled it out as it happened too far from where Dennis disappeared. The hope began to fade. By late July, 6 weeks after Dennis vanished, the search that once drew over 1,000 rescuers had withered to only a few dozen. By the end of August, only the most dedicated ones still scoured the ridges for the faintest trace of a child. And then, 12 weeks after the innocent game of hide-and-seek, authorities finally called off the search. And that was it. Dennis Martin was never found. One of the possible reasons being the immense size of the search party. The participants were too numerous to manage and often too inexperienced. So much so that the unsuccessful search for Martin led the National Park Service to review and amend its policies on searches for missing people. But then, what if a boy vanishes not while hiding, but while adults are literally walking right behind him? On a quiet autumn morning in
I've heard of this.
1999, a small hiking group set out along a trail in the Colorado Rockies. Among the 11 adults were 2 children, a 6-year-old girl named Jocelyn and her 3-year-old little brother, Jared. Their father, 𝙂𝙚𝙣𝙚 stayed at 𝙂𝙚 River Resort, the mountain lodge he ran with his twin brother. He hesitated to let the children go, but the group assured him it was only a short walk to a nearby fish hatchery, barely a couple of kilometers, half an hour at most. But instead of going to the hatchery as planned, the group soon turned onto the Big South Trail, a rugged 11-kilometer path that wound deep into Roosevelt National Forest at nearly 2,500 meters elevation. What should have been minutes became hours. Jared, restless and laughing, darted ahead again and again between roots and rocks. Around midday, 2 fishermen rested by the 𝙂𝙚 River when a cheerful small boy appeared. He tried to chat, then hurried ahead. Minutes later, a line of adults rounded the bend below, perhaps 15 or 20 meters back. The trail there twisted through brush and rock, so from where they walked, the boy was already out of sight. To the fishermen, it looked harmless, a child running a little ahead of his group. They had no idea they were the last to ever see him. Soon after, the hikers realized Jared was gone. They spent nearly an hour searching the trail, shouting his name and scrambling up and down the bends, but to no avail. Finally, they rushed back to the resort to alert his father. When the group told Alan what had happened, he collapsed, pounding his chest in grief. "They lost my boy. They lost my baby." Within hours, the mountain was swarming with searchers. Deputies shouted orders along the trail while bloodhounds pulled toward the ravines. Above them, helicopters thundered so low their rotors bent the trees. By dusk, hundreds of people were scouring every slope, convinced they would find Jared before nightfall. But when the sun came down, the mountain was silent. No footprints, no clothing, no sign of the boy at all.
What the fuck?
The search itself nearly turned fatal. A military helicopter sent to help lost lift in the thin mountain air and slammed into the forest. The crew survived, though several were badly injured. At base camp, there was complete chaos. News vans jammed the roads, while self-styled trackers and psychics descended, each insisting they knew where Jared was. Rescuers pushed through the noise, scouring slopes, riverbanks, and icy pools, yet the boy never appeared. Not that day, not that week, not in the months that followed. Nearly 4 years passed in complete silence. Until, one day, hikers made a discovery no one expected. A small shoe, scraps of clothing, and partial remains. Items later confirmed to belong to Jared. Experts argued fiercely. Some saw signs of a mountain lion attack, others disagreed, pointing out the evidence didn't fit, and still others believed he had slipped and fallen. In the end, authorities never reached a final conclusion. The true cause of Jared's death remains unknown. For Jared's father, 𝙂𝙚𝙣𝙚, those few items were all that remained from his son. He kept them in his son's room, untouched, as if waiting for the boy who would never return. When children vanish, it's often blamed on their innocence. They don't know how to act when fear takes over. But what goes wrong when a grown boy calls for help and still gets lost? The morning of June 17th, 2024 broke clear over the Tenerife's Tenno Mountains. Cliffs rose above the Atlantic, roads twisting down into deep ravines. In the village of Masca, 19-year-old Jay Slater stepped out of a rented Airbnb. That night, he had left the NRG festival in Playa de las Americas with two men he had only just met. Instead of returning to his own hotel on the busy southern coast, he followed them north, deep into Masca, a place of narrow paths and jagged drops, far from neon lights and crowded bars. At 7:30 a.m., Jay took a photo of the mountains and posted it to Snapchat. Then he asked the Airbnb owner about the bus back south. She told him the first wouldn't come until 10 a.m. Jay didn't want to wait. She later recalled watching him stride quietly down the road, but in the wrong direction. By 8:21, his friend Lucy Law, who had traveled with him to Tenerife, answered a call. Jay's voice was trembling. I'm in the mountains. I'm lost. I've cut my leg on a cactus. My phone's on 1%. Lucy thought she heard gravel shift and his breath catch. Then the connection was lost. At 8:50, he called again, sounding even more desperate. Jay said he was thirsty and couldn't find his way back. His battery was almost gone, and before Lucy could return the call, the line went dead yet again. His final signal came from the Teno Nature Reserve, nearly 45 kilometers from his hotel in Los Cristianos. Frightened for her friend's life, Lucy alerted the authorities. Soon, rescue teams poured into the mountains, firefighters, civil guard units, and volunteers combing every ravine. They pressed into dry riverbeds that coiled like endless labyrinths, where every turn could conceal a clue. But the land fought them at every step. Rock falls tumbled suddenly from cliffs above, forcing searchers to dive for cover. By day, the sun turned the slopes into a frying pan, with temperatures climbing past 35 degrees Celsius. By night, the winds sliced the air down to 5 degrees Celsius, freezing skin and breath alike. Could Jay, dressed for a nightclub, not for survival on bare stone, have endured even a single night? No one could be sure. Instead, theories about his disappearance began to multiply. Some whispered that the two men he stayed with had harmed him. Police questioned them, but soon confirmed they had no link to his disappearance. Then came reports that Jay had been seen in towns further south, but each sighting led to nothing. Even the dogs brought from Madrid failed because the volcanic dust and shifting winds erased every trace of the scent. His family soon arrived on the island and joined the search. Days under the sun left their faces burned by wind and heat, their hands scraped raw by rock. Yet after 29 days, not a single clue appeared. The last ping from Jay's phone marked only a wide circle of wilderness, far too vast to quickly narrow down. At last, on July 15th, almost a month later, a rescue helicopter spotted what no one wanted to find. Deep in the Juan Lopez ravine, close to that final phone signal, Jay's body lay scattered on the rocks. Examining his fractured skull and broken pelvis, the coroner concluded that he had died from a fall of about 25 meters. But the bigger question lingered. How had he wandered so far, so recklessly? Toxicology gave part of the answer. Alcohol, MDMA, cocaine, and ketamine had clouded his judgment, leaving him disoriented in terrain that demands perfect clarity of mind. Not every vanishing begins in the silence of forests or mountains. Some unfold in the very heart of celebration, beneath neon lights where the music drowns out the danger. On the night of May 29th, 2005, Carlos and Charlie's nightclub in Orangestad, Aruba, pulsed with music and heat. Strobe lights swept over a floor crammed with American graduates, native leis around their necks, pitchers of rum in their hands. It was the last night before their flight home. Among them was 18-year-old Natalie Holloway, an honors student from Alabama, dancer, and soon-to-be freshman at the University of Alabama. Friends remembered her laughing and moving easily between tables. Close to 1:30 a.m., she stepped outside. Waiting there was a tall Dutch student, 17-year-old Joran van der Sloot. With him were brothers Deepak and Satish Kalpoe, 21 and 18. They offered to show Natalie more of the island. She climbed into their car, and her friends saw only the taillights disappearing into the dark. By morning, hotel corridors buzzed as graduates packed for their 8 a.m. flight home. But Natalie's bed was untouched. Her suitcase and passport were still in the room, and her phone never answered. The adult chaperones, teachers, and parents supervising the trip quickly realized she was gone. That same day, her mother Beth and stepfather George Jug Twitty flew to Aruba by private jet. Within 4 hours of landing, they and local police went straight to the home of Joran van der Sloot, the last person seen with Natalie. At first, he denied even knowing her. Then, his story shifted. He claimed they had driven to the California lighthouse because Natalie wanted to see sharks, and that he later dropped her off at the hotel around 2 a.m. He said she stumbled getting out, but waved him away. Joran added that a man in a black security shirt approached her as they left. With no signs of Natalie anywhere, authorities launched an unprecedented search. Because Aruba is part of the Kingdom of the Netherlands, reinforcements soon arrived from overseas. Dutch Marines lined the beaches in tight formation, scanning every inch of the sand. While high above, F-16 jets swept the island with infrared cameras, hunting for heat signatures or disturbed ground that could reveal a hidden grave. And yet, the mystery of Natalie Holloway's disappearance seemed to deny all those efforts. Investigators detained Joran and the Kalpoe brothers multiple times. Each time, their stories shifted. Contradictions arose, but without a body or physical evidence, charges could not be filed. Weeks stretched into months. Beth Holloway,
I'm betting they were involved.
moved into the same hotel room her daughter had once occupied, refusing to leave the island. At last, in 2012, a judge declared Natalie legally dead. 18 years later, the silence cracked. In 2023, Joran Vandersloot, while serving a prison sentence in Peru for a murder, was extradited temporarily to the United States to face extortion charges linked to Natalie's family. In that courtroom, he finally confessed. On the beach, he tried to force Natalie into intimacy. When she resisted, he struck her in the head with a cinder block and pushed her body into the sea.
Jesus fuck.
I'm scared, I don't know what to do, and I decided to take her and to put her into the ocean.
It could have been a moment of justice, but Vandersloot returned to his Peruvian cell, serving time for the murder of another young woman. He was never convicted in Natalie's case, since no body or direct forensic evidence was ever found.
He is a monster, through and through.
Natalie vanished because no one was there to intervene, but the next boy's fate was sealed not by solitude, but by the recklessness of those meant to keep him safe. On the afternoon of July 4th, 2012, the lava cliffs of the 𝙂𝙚 Bay shimmered black under the Hawaiian sun. Waves smashed into the rock, spraying salty mist into the air. A group of teenagers pulled their kayaks onto the shore and followed their guides across the jagged lava, walking past warning signs that cautioned them to stay away. Among the group was 15-year-old Tyler Madoff from Scarsdale, New York, a junior lifeguard, football player, and honor student. Tyler had joined Bold Earth Adventures for what was supposed to be the trip of a lifetime. His parents had paid over $4,000 for the program, trusting it was safe and closely supervised. That afternoon, the guides told the teens to spread out by the tide pools. These shallow basins looked calm and inviting, but they were infamous for sudden swells that could rise without warning and drag swimmers into the open ocean. The teenagers unwrapped sandwiches, dangled their feet in the water, and laughed as spray hissed against bleeding, but alive. At the same moment, witnesses saw Tyler hurled against the lava rocks, his body still moving, before the undertow dragged him into deeper water. Within minutes, he was gone. It took more than an hour for the rescuers to reach the remote lava pools. Coast Guard boats fought the heavy surf sweeping the bay, while local crews scoured the shoreline and the rocks where Tyler had entered in the first place. His father, Michael Madoff, told reporters, "We're just hoping that other families won't have to go through this." In the final story, the children didn't take risks and they didn't wander off, but their mysterious disappearance haunted an entire continent for decades. On the morning of January 26, 1966, Glenelg Beach near Adelaide was alive with the noise of Australia Day. Among the holiday crowds were three siblings from Somerton Park, 9-year-old Jane, 7-year-old Arna, and 4-year-old Grant Beaumont. Their parents trusted Jane to care for the younger two, so letting the children go to the beach alone was nothing unusual. At 8:45 a.m., carrying towels and a few coins, they boarded the bus, promising their mother Nancy they'd be home by lunch. Witnesses remembered the children running across the jetty and splashing in the shallows. Everything looked ordinary, except for one detail. They were accompanied by a man no one recognized. He was tall, lean, tanned, in his 30s, wearing swim trunks. The children seemed at ease with him, almost as if they already knew him. Shortly after noon, the four left the beach together. At a bakery on Jetty Road, Jane paid for pastries and a meat pie with a £1 note, which was far more than her mother had given. She stepped outside with the bag in her arms, her brother and sister close behind, the stranger at their side. And from that moment, the busy streets of Glenelg swallowed them whole. When the noon bus arrived without the children, Nancy assumed they had simply caught the next one. But by 3 p.m., when their real father, Jim, returned to an empty house, worry had already turned into panic. He drove to Glenelg and searched every corner where the children might have been, finding nothing. At 5:30, the parents went to the police, setting off one of the largest search operations Australia had ever seen. Search teams pushed into the dunes and nature reserves, while divers dropped into the water.
Since they were with a mysterious man, that was not part of the. He was not part of this trip. I'm betting he had something to do with it.
Waters near 𝙤𝙤𝙬𝙧. Roadblocks went up, airports were warned, and within hours, the entire nation was fiercely looking for 3 missing children who had simply
Thank you, Chill Mike, for following.
Vanished from the beach. The first glimmer of hope came months later, when Dutch psychic Gerard Corset was flown in from Europe. He pointed investigators to an old brick kiln in the suburb of Stonyfell, about 12 kilometers from the 𝙂𝙚𝙣𝙚 home. Crews demolished the site to its foundations, but found nothing. 2 years later, when hope was nearly gone, Jim and Nancy received letters. One was said to be from Jane, written by a child's hand. Another came from the man, calling himself their guardian and promising the children's return if the parents kept the police away. The 𝙂𝙚𝙣𝙬s went to the meeting place with a detective hidden nearby, but no one came. Soon after, a third letter arrived accusing them of breaking the promise. Decades later, forensic testing revealed the truth. A teenager in Victoria wrote the letters and mailed them from Dandenong, more than 700 kilometers away. In the 1980s, investigators turned their eyes toward Bevan Spencer von Einem, already serving a life sentence for kidnapping and murder of teenager Richard Kelvin. His appearance bore a disturbing resemblance to the abductor described on 𝙤𝙤𝙬𝙧 Beach. But what truly drew detectives in were the words of an informant known only as Mr. B. He claimed von Einem had once boasted of taking 3 children from a beach and using them in grotesque surgical experiments that ended in death. Detectives scrambled to test the account, but no matter how far they dug, no physical evidence ever tied von Einem to the 𝙂𝙚𝙣𝙬 children. Years later, suspicion shifted again, this time to Harry Phipps, a wealthy factory owner who lived only 300 meters from 𝙤𝙤𝙬𝙧 Beach. Phipps matched witness descriptions of the tall, tanned man seen with the siblings. His son, Hayden, later recalled seeing the children in his father's yard on the very day they vanished, and 2 other men, boys at the time, said they had been paid by Phipps to dig a 2-meter hole in his factory yard that same weekend. For a moment, it seemed the mystery might finally be unraveling, but when police scoured the grounds with ground-penetrating radar, they once again came up empty. Phipps died in 2004, leaving behind suspicion and a trail that led nowhere. Jim and Nancy 𝙂𝙚𝙣𝙬𝙧 eventually moved out of their house, trying to outrun the press, but the shadow followed them everywhere. They grew old with unanswered questions and died without knowing what became of Jane, Arna, and Grant. Nearly 60 years later, the case file still sits open, a wound that never healed. So after all that, which of these stories struck you the hardest? Tell us in the comments and let us know if you
Oof. Big oof. Okay. Universe accidents, disasters, and let's watch these.
Imagine it's your day off. You've made it to the amusement park, survived the endless lines, and finally strapped yourself into the ride you've been waiting for all week. As the coaster begins to climb, the ground slowly disappears beneath you. Your heart beats faster with every click of the track, and the air seems to grow thinner as you rise, higher and higher into the sky. But then, at the very top, your carriage suddenly shudders. In an instant, the thrill twists into terror as you plunge from the height of a 20-story building, no longer in control of anything. Many of the stories on our channel begin just like this, and end in the most horrifying way imaginable. Today we continue with 3 more shocking roller coaster accidents that show just how fast and how tragically everything can change. But first, as
Oh,
always,
Necrack.
viewer discretion is advised. It was April 4th, 2025, just after 1 p.m., when 24-year-old Priyanka Rawat and her fiancé 𝙂𝙂 𝙂𝙚𝙧 walked through the entrance of Fun and Food Village, one of the oldest and most popular amusement parks on the outskirts of New Delhi. With more than 40 rides, India's largest collection of water slides, and a sprawling water park known for its lazy river, wave pool, and snow zone. It attracts nearly 500,000 visitors each year. For many locals, this place is part of Delhi's cultural fabric. And that's exactly why Priyanka and 𝙂𝙂 chose to spend the day there. Just the evening before, the couple had finalized their wedding date, February 10th, 2026. That weekend, 𝙂𝙂 was due to fly back to Cyprus for its job as a chef, and the outing was meant to be one last carefree day together before months of long-distance separation. So after buying all-day tickets that included both the amusement and water zones, they spent the afternoon splashing in the pools, racing each other down slides, and laughing like kids. By around 6 p.m., as the sun softened and families drifted toward the food courts, the couple headed to the amusement.
I wonder if they use real actors. Did they use real actors for this? Because it kind of looks like custom made footage.
Section among sons racing each other both the slide, drip bin, and a washing machine cycle.
Yeah, he probably uses actors.
Riders were strapped into a platform that rotated while swinging back and forth, rising higher with every arc. A spectacle thrilling enough to draw long lines night after night. When their turn finally came, the couple joined 16 other riders and took their seats. Priyanka buckled her harness, settled in beside her fiancé, and they held hands as the machine began to lift higher and higher. But according to 𝙂𝙂, what happened just seconds later would haunt him for the rest of his life. As the ride went up and started spinning, I closed my eyes. Within a few seconds, I heard people screaming that a woman had fallen. I opened my eyes and saw her lying on the ground, about 15 feet away. Unfortunately, that woman was his fiancé. It turned out that at the heighted point of the swing, one of the ride's support stands had suddenly given way. In an instant, Priyanka's seatbelt failed, and she became the only rider ejected, violently thrown into the air before hitting the pavement with devastating force. At that exact moment, dozens of horrified visitors on the ground screamed and surged toward the fence. Meanwhile, 𝙂𝙂, still strapped into a seat, thrashed to get free as the ride descended. The moment it stopped, he tore off the belt and sprinted to where Priyanka lay unconscious with blood pooling beneath her legs and arms. With the help of park staff, 𝙂𝙂 lifted Priyanka and placed her into the park's ambulance, but her breathing was shallow. They rushed her first to a nearby hospital and then, due to the severity of her condition, transferred the young woman to another facility. But despite every effort, Priyanka was declared dead on arrival. She had suffered massive internal and external trauma, including a deep laceration to her right leg, a puncture wound on the left, and multiple fractures and abrasions across her arms and knees. Hours later, police arrived at the hospital and registered a first information report under sections 289 and 106 of the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, India's updated penal code covering negligent conduct with machinery and culpable homicide not amounting to murder. The ride was immediately sealed off, the operator detained for questioning, and investigators requested maintenance logs and employee records from the park. For Priyanka's family, however, grief quickly turned to suspicion. The very next day, her younger brother Mohit and relatives entered the park's administration office under the guise of booking a group outing. Inside, he later claimed they saw staff reviewing and possibly altering CCTV footage from the night of the tragedy, the same footage the family had been denied access to. And that wasn't the only red flag. 𝙂𝙂 recalled that just before the ride started, another guest had pointed out that several seatbelts looked as though they were patched with tape. When questioned, the operator brushed it off, saying, "I've been running this ride for 18 years. Everything's fine." As of September 2025, nearly 6 months after the tragedy, no one has been charged. The park maintains that in its 33-year history, this was its first such incident. Owner Santokh Chawla denied any negligence and blamed the tragedy on a freak failure, insisting, "We responded immediately with our own ambulance. We are fully cooperating with police."
That freak failure is a dead giveaway that the ride has a fundamental mechanical failure and maintenance was severely lacking.
Yet despite the death and the ongoing investigation, Fun and Food Village reopened the very next morning. The top spin remained closed, but the rest of the park resumed normal operations. Meanwhile, Priyanka's mother publicly demanded justice, saying, "I don't want what happened to my daughter to happen to anyone else." For For Priyanka's fiancé, Nikhil, the tragedy was also unbearable. He had been scheduled to return to Cyprus just 2 days later. Instead, he canceled his flight, told his employer he might never come back, and stayed with Priyanka's grieving family, who remembered her as the backbone of their lives. The next tragedy also unfolded in front of someone who loved the victim. But while the CCTV footage of Priyanka's tragic end was never released, this time the entire country witnessed the horror on video, with more than one life hanging in the balance. On July 26, 2017, 18-year-old 𝙂𝙤 was celebrating a milestone that marked the beginning of his adult life. Just 5 days earlier, he had officially enlisted in the U.S. Marine Corps, fulfilling a dream he had spoken about since childhood. Tyler was determined, patriotic, and already preparing for his basic training at Parris Island the following summer. And that Wednesday evening, he went to the Ohio State Fair in Columbus with his girlfriend, 19-year-old 𝙂𝙤 𝙂𝙚. For them, it was supposed to be a night of music, rides, fried food, and celebration. One of the last carefree summer adventures before the responsibilities of adulthood and military service took over. Among the attractions that caught their attention was the Fireball, a towering pendulum-style thrill ride built by Dutch
Fireball.
manufacturer KMG. The ride consisted of a massive swinging arm attached to a central hub with 6 gondolas at the end. Each gondola seated 4 passengers, meaning up to 24 people could ride at once. As the arm swung higher and higher, the gondolas spun, creating alternating momentum.
Hello. Hi, Fame. How are you? We're doing some YT reactions. We're doing a chill stream tonight. How you been? That's good. Doing well. That's good. Been trying. And I'm proud of you for trying. Mom is proud of you. I give you head pats. There you go.
Of crushing G-force and weightless freefall. Riders described it as one of the most exhilarating experiences at the fair. Since at its peak, the Fireball swung nearly 20 meters into the air and spun at close to 15 revolutions per minute. At 7:24 p.m., the Fireball was midway through one of its giant arcs. Video taken by a bystander showed the ride lifting nearly to its peak when, suddenly, disaster struck. One of the gondolas ripped free from the arm with a spray of sparks. In a split second, the 4 riders inside were hurled into the air as the detached gondola slammed into the ground with bone-breaking force. In a cruel twist of fate, Tyler was one of them. He was ejected at high speed and thrown nearly 15 meters across the midway. The very moment he hit the ground, the impact was catastrophic, and although emergency
they died.
responders reached him within minutes, there was nothing they could do. 𝙂𝙤 was pronounced dead at the scene, suffering severe blunt force trauma to his head, chest, and lower body. Unfortunately, his...
I don't know why I find these kind of... Yeah, you better be joking. You better be joking. I don't know why I find these videos intriguing. Just the fact that life is far more fragile than we can ever perceive, and one second we're here, and then the next second we could be gone.
Girlfriend 𝙂𝙤 was sitting right beside him when the gondola detached. She, too, was ejected, slamming into another part of the ride before crashing onto the pavement. And while that violent secondary impact may have saved her life by slowing her fall, her injuries were devastating. A fractured spine in 2 places, a shattered pelvis and hip, a broken ankle.
Yeah, it would be a double lawsuit if this wasn't in a third world, if this story wasn't in a third world country.
A fractured shoulder, broken ribs, and partially paralysis in her right foot. 2 other passengers, Russell Franks and Tamika Dunlap, remained strapped into their seats when the gondola hit the ground, and were among the 7 riders who were serious.
It's not just a class action lawsuit. This is a lawsuit with 2 fronts. One is class action, and one is the government going after the park operators.
Hurt. Meanwhile, witnesses described the midway as pure chaos. Screams, smoke, and bodies sprawled across the asphalt, while panicked families rushed to find their loved ones. In the aftermath, the Fireball was immediately shut down, and the manufacturer, KMG, issued a worldwide safety bulletin suspending every ride of its kind. Within hours, investigators began searching for answers, with the Ohio State Highway Patrol, the Ohio Department of Agriculture, and the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission coordinating the effort. What engineers eventually found shocked even industry veterans. Inside the arm of the ride, in the steel that supported the gondolas, was severe internal corrosion. Over years of operation, moisture had eaten away at the metal from the inside out.
So this ride rusted apart. It rusted to the point it couldn't. To the point it couldn't. It just basically rusted apart. It was a fundamental, not just mechanical failure. This is a fundamental build quality failure. I'm not drowning. Why the fuck did you just drown for me? What the fuck does that mean? Yes. Wait, what is that? What does it mean? What? Hydrate to the point I drown? Is that what it means, or what?
Thinning its walls until they were dangerously fragile. That evening, under the immense stress of swinging and rotating, the beam finally fractured. The thing is that the Fireball had been manufactured in 1998 and had been part of traveling midways for nearly 2 decades. Operated by Amusements of America, it had been assembled and disassembled countless times, traveling from state fair to state fair, carnival to carnival. By the summer of 2017, it had already endured almost 19 years of wear and tear. And yet, just hours before the tragedy, state inspectors had signed off on the very ride that turned out to be deadly. For Tyler's family, the loss was immeasurable. His father, Anthony Gerald, spoke publicly about his pride in his son, a young man just beginning his future, who never got the chance to live out his dream of becoming a Marine, with his name still fresh on the rolls of the Corps. In a statement, the Marine Corps itself paid tribute, acknowledging that although he would never wear the uniform in service, he would always be remembered as part of their ranks. Meanwhile, 𝙂𝙤 began the fight of her life. She spent weeks in intensive care, undergoing one surgery after another, metal plates, screws, and rods holding her shattered bones together. The medical costs climbed into the millions, and recovery was excruciating. She had to learn how to walk again, often confined to a wheelchair, plagued by nerve pain and nightmares of that night. But for 𝙂𝙤, the physical pain wasn't the hardest part. Waking up in the ICU, she immediately asked, "Where's Tyler?" Her mother had to tell her the truth, that the boy she loved, the one she had been sitting next to just hours earlier, had been killed instantly. In interviews, 𝙂𝙤 later said that moment shattered her world in ways no injury ever could. Over the years, she has continued to share her story publicly, not just about her recovery, but also about Tyler. She often speaks of him as her motivation to keep fighting, saying she wants the world to know how much he meant to her. 𝙂𝙤 graduated from the University of Cincinnati after years of rehabilitation, and in 2024 won a $20 million judgment for her injuries from the ride's manufacturer. And although no amount of money could bring Tyler back, the accident left such a profound impact on Ohio that lawmakers passed Tyler's Law in 2020, imposing some of the strictest amusement ride safety standards in the country. Inspections now require advanced testing for hidden corrosion, detailed documentation, and mandatory engineer sign-offs whenever any sign of structural fatigue is found. Significant changes, but had they been implemented in time, this tragedy might have been prevented. Just like the final case today, which is even more horrifying, because it killed nearly...
Oh, you got your phone repaired? That's awesome! I was using a backup for accident. Yeah. I understand that.
Everyone on board, and is remembered as one of Australia's worst theme park disasters. On October 25th, 2016, Dave Turner stood near the Thunder River Rapids ride at Dreamworld on Australia's Gold Coast, smiling as he held his 8-month-old daughter, Evie, in his arms. Around him, families laughed, children splashed nearby, and his partner, 𝙂𝙚 𝙂𝙚, waved from the raft as she settled in with their 12-year-old daughter, Ebony. For them, it was meant to be a perfect family outing, and the 𝙂𝙂s weren't alone on the ride. With them were Kate's brother, Luke Dorset, his partner, Ruzi Araji, and their close friend, Cindy Lowe, who had brought along her 10-year-old son, Kieran. Together, the group of 6 filled one of the circular rafts, 4 adults and 2 children, ready for what was marketed as a family-friendly water adventure. The Thunder River Rapids had been a staple of Dreamworld for more than 30 years. It promised gentle turbulence, a splash of fun, and a sense of whitewater rafting made safe for all ages. There were no harnesses, only simple seatbelts, because the ride was considered so benign. At around 2 p.m., the raft set off. For several minutes, everything seemed as expected. The raft spun lightly, bumped along the artificial rapids, and drifted toward the conveyor.
I've been on one of these before. And I was clinging on. I've been on one of these before as a kid. I was clinging onto the raft for dear life. Because I almost fell out of the raft. And then my family prompted a complaint. They never did anything until someone died.
Belt that carried passengers up
Motorola Razr.
the unloading platform, but beneath the surface.
You use Motorola? Motorola's still a thing? I'm sorry. I didn't make you feel. I didn't mean to make you feel even more of an unk than you are right now. Mostly never. Yeah.
One of the ride's pumps had failed for the third time that day, and the water level dropped just enough to expose the steel rails of the conveyor. At that very moment, Raft 6, which had just completed its circuit, became stranded on those rails at the top of the conveyor. It was stuck at an angle, unable to float forward. Seconds later, Raft 5, carrying Kate, Luke, Ruzi, Cindy, and 2 children, approached the same spot, and since operators failed to stop the belt in time, Raft 5 slammed directly into the stalled raft, rode up the back of it, and, in an instant, flipped violently. The force hurled the 4 adults from their seats. Suddenly, Luke, Ruzi, Kate, and Cindy were thrown directly into the churning machinery of the conveyor belt.
Oh
A massive
no.
industrial system.
Which is... Yeah, I eventually plan to get a Pixel 8 Pro. Not to have Google on it, but to have Lineage OS. Yeah, that'll be one way ticket to ripping your scalp off. I assume. I heard. Yeah.
Designed to drag a raft weighing over a ton, continued to run without pause, crushing them with a force comparable to heavy mining equipment. Miraculously, the 2 children were ejected clear. 12-year-old Ebony and 10-year-old Kieran were tossed aside before the machinery pulled them under, stunned but alive. They scrambled away as screams erupted from horrified witnesses. Meanwhile, from the edge of the ride, Dave Turner saw it all unfold. His partner and family members pulled beneath the raft as he clutched their baby and shouted at Dreamworld staff, "Why didn't you stop the ride?" In shock, Dave then leapt into the water, desperate to reach Kate, but there was nothing anyone could do. She and the 3 other adults were already gone, killed by severe crushing injuries and compressive asphyxia.
That would be okay if there wasn't already a story in China where maintenance workers failed to properly reinstall the safety plate for at top of the escalator, and a woman actually felt the safety plate failed, and the woman pushed her child to safety while she got dragged under and crushed to death. Yeah.
Investigators quickly discovered this was not an unforeseeable freak accident.
This is why stairs are the best. My grandma fell and can't get up.
The fact is, the Thunder River Rapids had a long history of breakdowns and warnings, including failing.
Not sure if it was. I think. I guess Blender is some part of it, but I think they're using. I think they were using like Unity. I'm not exactly sure. Blender probably a part of it.
Pumps, inadequate audits, and poor staff training. The coroner would later describe Dreamworld's safety culture as shocking and
I don't know. Fame, you're cute.
unsafe, concluding that the disaster was only a matter of time.
Yeah.
The inquest also revealed bitter details. Lead ride operator Peter Nemeth.
But you are cute. You are cute. Boop. No, you said. Oh! Still lying. Excuse me? I'm not lying to you. I'm definitely not lying to you. You are cute. I mean it. You are cute. You are a good boy. Good girl. You're a good creature. I'm not lying. It's not a lie, it's facts. Really? Really? Didn't call you pretty? Fuck is going on? Alright, there we go. Alright, you're pretty, Blitzy. You are pretty, Blitzy. Mwah. I'm gonna give you hip hats. I feel like I wanted to add some new rewards. I'm not sure if I added them yet. But I'm pretty sure I added a few new rewards for Twitch that you can redeem. The amount of hydras you did. Wow. How many hydras did you fucking do? What the fuck? Hold on, let me count. Let me count. Let me go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 hydrates. What the fuck? Hold on, hold on. I'm not gonna drink water. I'm gonna drink your mom's squirt. Here we go. I drink your mom's squirt. I'm sorry. Trying to drink 6. By the power of the gravitational pull of your mother, I shall drink her essence. Better drink 6 bottles. Not poggers. Not poggers. It's very much poggers to me.
Stated he had pressed the conveyor stop button 2 or 3 times in a panic, but the machinery did not respond until it was too late. Another supervisor testified that she didn't believe the conveyor had been stopped at all during the entire incident. Meanwhile, a young attendant working her very first shift at the station admitted she hadn't even pressed the emergency stop because she'd been told nobody ever uses it. In the aftermath, Dreamworld's parent company, Ardent Leisure, was charged under workplace health and safety laws and fined a record 3.6 million Australian dollar. The park itself shut its gates for 6 weeks, eventually reopening under strict new safety laws passed across Queensland. The Thunder River Rapids, however, was permanently decommissioned and dismantled. For more than a century, roller coasters and thrill rides have carried billions of people safely, and fatalities remain extremely rare, with the odds
Okay, so I have acrophobia, which is the fear of heights. Not really in the typical sense of, oh, I'm so high in fear. No, it's very, hey, I don't want to be in a height where I can, at a altitude where I can die. Sure, I handled a few some injuries here and there, but like I don't want to be an altar where I can die.
Of being killed, estimated at roughly 1 in 170.
Also, YouTube, you cannot censor me. Well, you can censor me a little bit since I'm trying to actively avoid any copyright issues and whatnot. And check out Brazen Blaze. Here's the thing, I don't have VR. Fame, I don't have VR. Here's the thing, Fame. I'm trying to save up as much as I can for at least a VR headset. As for full body, I'm not exactly sure. Why does everyone have VR except for me? I'm the broke bitch here. I can't afford shit. And no, I'm not getting a MetaQuest. They can suck my dick. Like I play retro games. I played retro games from at least 2005. Sometimes 1990 or 1985, 1980s. Here's the thing. I can't afford it. I can barely afford my rent. And here's the thing, Fame. My PC, it has an AMD CPU, which unfortunately there's not much optimization for AMD CPUs. At least, and my PC is not really built for like high quality gaming. It's just built for like streaming and light gaming. Here's the thing, I don't want PC VR. People keep on telling me, oh, get PC VR if you just can't afford VR. I don't want PC VR. That's literally defeats the whole point of VR in the first place. No, I do not want a Quest. I don't want a Quest, and I don't want PC VR. I've been looking into the Big Screen Beyond, even though that's damn near $1,000 just for the headset alone. No, I'm not getting Google Cardboard. What the fuck? I'm not getting Google Cardboard. Here's my top 2 options that actually is a right fit for me that I did research on. It's either gonna be for the sake of my migraines, it would be the Big Screen Beyond, since it's lightweight and it has a decent quality. Can put out around a native 1080p. Basically, Big Screen Beyond is lightweight. It rivals the Valve Index, and is actually recommended for people who suffer migraines often. Unfortunately, it's damn near $1,000. Valve Index ain't helping for shit. Here's the thing. People keep telling me, get Valve Index, get Quest. I try to tell everyone. I can't get that because not that I don't. I can't get enough because I can't afford it. That's one. And two, I try to explain my migraines, and that I've suffered some. I had and any pressure on my head, or if there's an imbalance, weight imbalance on my head, I end up suffering the most severe fucking migraines. If it's fucking debilitating. I wish I could get a normal VR headset, but no, I can't. I'll end up getting a migraine and end up puking to the point of passing out. That has happened to me on multiple occasions. Here's the thing: any imbalance, including any amount of weight that's weighing down my head, it'll actually cause me severe migraines. I learned that the hard way. Hmm. The lightest one I've seen is just a big screen beyond. As for the controller stuff, I'm probably gonna get the Valve Index controllers, and as for like um full body, I'll probably like make my own slime trackers, and just to save a few bucks. Oh no, fuck Heat. Fuck Heat. Nah, I don't like their business practices. Yeah, they've been caught with they've been recently caught with a little a little OSHA violation here and there. They make trackers. Unfortunately, they've been caught abusing their employees. So yeah, not supporting them. Mm. Ooh, someone donated 50 cents on Blue Heart. Thank you. Yeah. No. Also, I'm trying to figure out just the most lightweight stuff I can get for VR. So far, it's just gonna be Big Swing Beyond with with Valve controllers and Tundra trackers with base stations. I think there's a version of Tundra trackers where you don't need the base stations. Oh, I can't afford it for shit. No, I can't afford it for shit. And if I try to save up for it, it's probably gonna take me well over 2 years to save up just to comfortably afford it. Because I need at minimum $5,000 in my bank account for minimum for like rent, basic necessities. This is to maintain $5,000 just in case something goes wrong. And on top of that, if I want anything else, I want to invest in anything else, I have to save up that money. And what I do is I save up twice over. So the price of like say the total price of the VR stuff I need is about, which is the upgrade for my PC plus the VR stuff is about five combined is about $5,000. So I would need to save up Afterpay. No, fuck that shit. I am not. No, no. if I make a big investment, it's gonna be cold hard with my cold hard earnings. Anything small like a grocery and stuff like that, I would happily use a credit card on. Anywho, so I need to maintain a minimum of $5,000 for my bank account. That's not required. It's just that's my personal preference. And on top of that, if I want to invest in anything else, like in PC upgrade plus VR, is around an additional $5,000. So I like to save up twice over. So I would just save up around $10,000 to comfortably afford all of it. Or at the very minimum, I save 1.5 times over, so I can still comfortably afford it. Here's the thing. I don't do trailer reactions unless I intend to play the game. I intend to play the game myself within the year. If it's not within the year, I don't do any reactions on it. Because I know I will forget. No. Here's the thing. If I want to play, if I want to do trailer reaction, it would be not only, well, it's gonna be automatic copyright, but also I would be wanting to play it within the year. I'm sorry to upset you, but I'm not doing a reaction on that. Yeah, sorry, but I'm not doing a reaction on that. Meanie. I'm the meanie? Anywho. Yeah, I have to save a minimum of at least $6,000. So it'll be 5,000, maintaining 5,000 in my bank account plus $6,000. I would have to have $11,000 in my bank account in order to comfortably afford it. Hmm? What do you mean for Valorant? And that is why we also have 3 ways to tip. The tip 1, tip 2, and tip 3. Yeah, we have stream elements, we have sound alerts, and we have Streamlabs for tipping. Yes, I use Streamlab alerts for my OBS, even though I use stream elements. Yeah. But yeah, we have 3 ways to tip. And also, lol, yeah. Also, I'm just focusing on saving up just to have like emergency funds for basic living expenses. And I want to save up like an additional like $6,000 like to afford my PC upgrade and VR stuff. The PC upgrade is gonna be about like what, around $3,000. Yeah. Here's the thing, I'm doing complete upgrade from a PC. Here's the thing. I don't like buying part by part. It fucking sucks. I would have like parts. I would like have PC parts right here. Like I want to build my PC, but I can't do it. I see the parts where they're like, no, I don't do that. I don't do that. Here's the thing. If I'm gonna do upgrade, it's gonna be a complete upgrade. I don't do micro upgrades here and there. So it would be a complete upgrade for my PC. And all the thing, I'll be transferring my my NVMe drives to my new PC. Here's the thing, I don't like doing micro upgrades. It sucks ass. It feels like it sucks ass, and here's the thing, if I upgrade just the CPU, like, why the fuck would I upgrade the CPU? Just the CPU. And I have to make sure all the components are compatible with like a single component, a single upgrade. And that I just don't like the idea of just slowly upgrading. I want to upgrade all at once. I need to remove that. Yeah. But yeah, I like to do, if I do an upgrade of anything, it it would be a complete upgrade. Otherwise, otherwise it just wouldn't feel right for me. Plus, all my components I have right now, it took me 2 years to research because when I was like a year ago, when I was almost done researching for like components for a PC, there was a vulnerability, a hardware vulnerability for the GPU I was going to get, so I had to scrap the entire build and redo the build again because of that. And what I just want to make sure, if I'm getting all these parts, I want to make sure they're compatible and they don't have any hardware vulnerabilities. Ah, head pats, 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 head pats. Head pats. Gracie, we were just talking about PC parts in VR chat, in a VR hardware. I was mentioning that I want to maintain at least $5,000 in my bank account, and if I want to get like anything else, I usually try to save up at least 1.5 to twice over, so I can comfortably afford it. Wah. How are you? Wah. I keep it saying how are you to like chat, whatever chatter, any new chatters.
Million rides worldwide. But these three prove just how devastating those rare moments can be when something does go wrong. It's easy to think of amusement parks as places of joy and laughter, built to give us unforgettable memories. Yet, behind the bright lights and thrilling drops lies machinery that even its operators sometimes cannot fully control. And when those systems fail, the consequences are immediate and irreversible. Now let me ask you.
I wish I know. Here's the thing. Even if I meticulously plan for everything, at least one thing goes wrong, and it ends up being a domino effect for all of my other plans. Such as like life plans that went to scrap at least 4 times now. Oh, no crack. But yeah. at least starting anew and making sure my damn hardest to make sure everything goes to plan. Or at least there's the basic living necessities. Or at least my savings goals, at least.
A happy face, a joyful light. She laughs and plays with all her might, and acts so cute, it feels just right. Like a kitty, soft and sweet.
Oh. Oh my. Oh my. Thanks AI for the follow. Now I have sound alerts set to where it doesn't cut off. It doesn't cut off.
Head pats make her day complete. A gentle touch, a loving treat, her happy purrs can't be beat. She wiggles and she giggles free, a happy saint.
Thank you. What the fuck? Thank you.
A happy streamer, plain to see. Brandy Blitz, a cutie pie, makes all her viewers want to cry. With joy, of course, way up so high.
Fame, what are you doing? Oh my. Oh. I don't. I. I'm still processing. What the fuck? Obviously, my sound alerts. It works on stream, but I don't hear it in my headphones. I don't know why sound alerts in particular. Okay. I'm not gonna control audio via OBS. I think that's an issue. I think it just kind of breaks it. Fame, are you using ChatGPT to make poems? What the fuck is going on? Also, I'm keeping the sound alert bits to 0, probably. What the fuck? Oh, Lord. I just. I honestly have no idea how to. Oh my goodness. Honestly, what the fuck? Aw. Hold on, let me. Let me make sure I. 100% beats. What if I do? I want. Are you okay with me switching the sound alert text to speech to the voiceover to Japanese? Oh my.
A gentle rain fell on the city.
I want to see the.
A gentle.
I want to. Hold on. Let me see if it Japanese is anything good. Okay, no, it was actually read it in Japanese. No.
A gentle. A gentle rain.
Hold on. I want to see if it.
A gentle rain.
Okay, there we go. We gotta update it. We gotta update voice. Alright. Famous work up. You're the reason why I make my bits minimum 100. I have bits at 0 because I don't want chat to like overspend on me. I've heard horror stories where that happened, and it didn't go well. Anywho.
Have you ever had a ride break down while you were on it, or walked away from one just in time? Let me know in the comments. And
Ooh. Let's see this. Ew. Itchy. Itchy.
When the heavy steel gate clicked shut behind him, 𝙂𝙚𝙣𝙚 found himself locked inside the cage with an enormous African lion. But 𝙂𝙗 wasn't afraid, because the enclosure stood right in his backyard, and this predator was the pet he had raised with his own hands. That's why what happened next was truly horrifying and something 𝙂𝙗 could never have imagined, nor did two others whose stories we'll cover today, all united by a passion for wild animals, and who eventually paid the ultimate price when that obsession turned fatal. But first, as always, viewer discretion is advised. 34-year-old 𝙂𝙗𝙗 had always been known for his deep love of animals, and in December 2010, followers of his Facebook page got their first glimpse of his beloved companions. Except these weren't kittens, but real lions, calmly curled up beside him in bed. Originally from the Czech Republic, 𝙂𝙗 spent part of his life living at a farmhouse in the Slovakian town of 𝙂𝙗. Almost daily, he proudly shared photos of his animals, both young and fully grown tigers and lions, wandering the backyard as if it were their natural home. Yet the main stars of his page were always the same: a male lion, Fufi, and a lioness, 𝙂𝙗. 𝙂𝙗 had lovingly raised them since they were cubs, documenting every step of their growth, feeding routines, and playful interactions. And both Fufi and 𝙂𝙗 indeed appeared to behave like oversized domestic cats under his touch. But in 2015, 𝙂𝙗 decided to move back home to the Czech Republic,
This can't go
settling into
end
his
well.
father's house in the small village of 𝙂𝙗. For reasons unknown, he brought only Fufi with him, leaving the rest of his menagerie in Slovakia. But slowing down was never part of 𝙂𝙗's plan. As he continued to raise Foofy, now fully grown, neighbors soon saw him building large, homemade enclosures in the backyard. And a year later, in 2016, 𝙂𝙗 delighted his followers with another sweet photo of Foofy, only this time beside a new companion, a little lioness named 𝙂𝙚, brought into his life with the hope of breeding a new generation. 𝙂𝙗 was overjoyed and continued to share photos from their new home, affectionately calling Foofy 𝙂𝙂check and 𝙂𝙚 my little princess. But it was around this time that the first serious problems began. Local officials repeatedly denied 𝙂𝙗 the permits needed to keep exotic animals, voicing concerns over the lion's housing conditions, which were entirely homemade and far from meeting any safety or legal standards. Eventually, authorities cited 𝙂𝙗 multiple times for illegal breeding and keeping dangerous animals without registration. And it wasn't just officials who were alarmed, but his neighbors as well. In 2018, 𝙂𝙗 took 2-year-old 𝙂𝙚 for a walk on a local trail when a cyclist suddenly collided with her. This time, authorities responded again, but 𝙂𝙗 refused them access to his property, as he always had. And since the lioness hadn't injured anyone, and no abuse was evident, officials were powerless to intervene, ultimately classifying this case as a traffic accident. Still, none of this seemed to shake 𝙂𝙗's passion. He continued caring for the animals with the same devotion, determined to raise a new generation of lions on Czech soil. But to local officials and residents, he remained a ticking time bomb. And on March 5th, 2019, that time tragically ran out. That morning, 𝙂𝙗's father was checking the outdoor surveillance cameras on their property when something strange caught his eye. The image showed 𝙂𝙗 lying motionless inside the cage with Foofy, now 9 years old. Panicked, he ran to the enclosure, and when he got close enough to see clearly, he was faced with a true nightmare, 𝙂𝙗's torn and bloodied body. He immediately called the police, but by the time officers arrived, they couldn't even enter the cage, since Foofy, weighing nearly 200 kilograms, remained aggressive and refused to let anyone approach the body. Eventually, the officers were forced to shoot Foofy, calling it absolutely necessary to secure access to the scene. But then came a second, devastating blow. The officers also killed 𝙂𝙚, who had been calm, caged in a separate enclosure, and showed no signs of aggression, citing a potential safety risk. Ultimately, this tragic accident was officially ruled as an animal attack, and since the cage had been locked from the inside, it was assumed 𝙂𝙗 had gone in alone, most likely for routine feeding or cleaning, when Foofy suddenly turned on him. Still, not everyone believed this version of events, because 2 years earlier, in April 2017, 𝙂𝙗 had posted a desperate plea on his Facebook. Today, I learned from a citizen of 𝙂𝙤 that the Vsetin office, the veterinary report, and the 𝙂𝙤 municipal office have agreed to demolish the fence surrounding my domesticated lion Foofy, who has not harmed anyone. They want to harm him and me and everyone who loves him with heavy machinery, and if Foofy defends himself, they are supposed to shoot him. All of this without a court proceeding, without the participation of the landowner, me, and without any final court judgment. I ask for help for anyone who cares about Foofy. Please share. Even the mayor of 𝙂𝙤, Tomáš Kokorík, made a chilling public statement right after the tragedy, saying coldly, this incident will perhaps finally help to resolve this long-term problem. Even I briefly believed in a conspiracy, with tears in my eyes scrolling through photo after photo of what appeared to be 2 tame, gentle lions from whom everyone seemed so desperate to get rid of. But then came a single detail that changed everything. Back in March 2012, 𝙂𝙗 had been rushed to a hospital in Trnava, Slovakia, with massive lacerations across his arms and legs. In an interview with local media, he explained that as soon as he had stepped into the cage with the then 2-year-old Foofy, the lion had immediately pounced on him. Yet even then, he didn't blame his pet. It was my fault that the lion attacked me. He was behaving naturally. I made a professional mistake. Like every morning, I went in to feed them, but this time I wore a coat that smelled like my dog's. And for how he survived, 𝙂𝙗 said it was thanks to 𝙂𝙚, the same lioness he had left in Slovakia, who chased Foofy away and saved him. After emergency surgery, 𝙂𝙗 gave one last quote in that interview, a line that now feels unbearably heartbreaking. I know that all the saints must have been standing beside me. The lion could have eaten me completely. Fortunately, I'm here, and I can't wait to meet my lion couple. This story shook me to the core, but more than anything, it's a brutal reminder that no matter how gentle they seem, wild animals can never truly be tamed. And the next case proves that, perhaps in an even more horrific way, because this time it wasn't just one predator involved, but an entire pack. On July 17th, 2006, Crystal 𝙂𝙗𝙣𝙚 was waiting for her mother to arrive for breakfast. It was a quiet summer morning in Salem Township,
I've heard
Pennsylvania.
of this.
And sharing that meal together was something of a family tradition. 50-year-old Sandra 𝙂𝙗𝙣 never missed it. She was punctual, dependable, especially when it came to her family. However, that day, Sandra never showed up. At first, Crystal assumed her mother had simply lost track of time. But as the minutes ticked by, concern turned to dread. So she got in her car and drove the familiar back roads to Sandra's property, hoping it was all just a misunderstanding. Yet what she found instead was something truly shocking. The gate to the enclosure behind the house was slightly ajar. Inside the pen were 8 massive wolf dogs, pacing, growling, and circling something in the dirt. It only took a moment for Crystal to realize what she was looking at: her mother's torn, bloodied, and partially devoured body. But how did it come to this? The thing is, Sandra 𝙂𝙗𝙗 was known for her quiet life, and yet one defining passion: her wolf dogs. For nearly 10 years, she had been breeding and raising the hybrids in a fenced enclosure on her rural property. The pen was large, about 12 by 45 meters, and surrounded by reinforced, electrified fencing topped with a mesh. At first, she'd started with only a few animals, then bred several litters herself, with some of them born right there in that backyard. Despite being part domestic dog, hybrids, especially high-content ones, were far from typical pets. Weighing nearly 55 kilograms, they often lack the genetic traits that make dogs predictable. They're less socialized, more anxious, and far more reactive under stress. Furthermore, wolf dogs exhibit strong pack instincts, have a high prey drive, and are notoriously difficult to contain or train, often requiring constant supervision. At the same time, none of Sandra's animals were registered with the Pennsylvania Game Commission, as required by law for exotic or hybrid animals. Instead, she found a loophole and licensed them as ordinary dogs using basic municipal tags, skirting the very regulations meant to keep such creatures in check. And that wasn't the only red flag. Just a year before the accident, one of Sandra's hybrids had attacked and killed another member of the pack. In another incident, a visiting friend was bitten. And although no formal complaint was ever filed, neighbors also frequently raised concerns. They spoke of hearing disturbing sounds at night, of the stench of roadkill Sandra reportedly used to feed the animals, and of the deeply unsettling feeling they got walking past her property. But Sandra wouldn't hear it. She referred to the wolf dogs as her children and believed they gave her something she couldn't find elsewhere: unqualified love. Yet on July 17, 2006, that belief came back to haunt her in the worst way imaginable. That morning, Sandra had entered the enclosure likely to feed the animals, clean their space, or check on their behavior. But what happened next was what responders later described as coordinated pack behavior, an aggressive group response likely triggered by a single individual. Experts believe Sandra may have tried to break up a fight, or perhaps simply entered during a shift in the pack's hierarchy. Either way, once the first bite landed, the rest followed. And eventually, all of the predators inside the pen turned on her, lunging with their teeth and nearly tearing her apart from every direction. The autopsy, later performed by renowned forensic pathologist Dr. 𝙂𝙗𝙗𝙗, confirmed the cause of death as exsanguination, massive blood loss from soft tissue injuries consistent with a coordinated pack attack. Yet by the time police and humane officers arrived, they found not only Sandra's lifeless body, but the very same animals, still agitated and aggressive. Therefore, all 8 hybrids were euthanized on the spot. Meanwhile, the 9th wolf dog, which Sandra had kept inside the house, was spared and later transferred to a local animal shelter. Following the tragedy, Pennsylvania tightened restrictions on wolf hybrid ownership, closing the loopholes that had allowed such animals to end up in the hands of untrained private citizens. And yet, Sandra's daughter, Crystal, defended her mother fiercely. She knew what she was doing, Crystal said. If she didn't, she would have been dead the first day she had them. Tragically, the final case also involves an experienced caretaker. But that didn't save them either, because this time, the predator was something even larger. And when it turned, it did so right in front of terrified children. 37-year-old 𝙂𝙗𝙖𝙗 𝙂𝙗 and her husband, Michael, weren't just typical animal lovers. For nearly a decade, the couple had built what neighbors described as a
Oh, I had to reread it again. And also, I'm not cute. You are. Anywho, again. Oh yeah. Here we go. Alright, chat. Well, I'm gonna. Pardon me. Anyway, chat. Slash. What the fuck? Untimeout. At. Why the fuck was Fame timeout? And at the real Fame. Also, why the fuck stream elements? What the fuck? Fame, sorry about that. I didn't notice. Super sorry about that. Also, stream elements. What the fuck? What the fuck? Okay, I need to alter stream elements. Not stream elements. I need to alter sound alerts so it doesn't fucking do that. Yeah, I understand. I understand that. It's like I have the safety settings to a minimum, and it just did that. I can't have. We can't have nice things. Anywho, chat. I'm gonna be ending off today's stream here. Thank you everyone for joining today's stream. My name is Brandon Blitz. I'm a variety streamer. I stream lots of video games chat suggest me, as well as I draw art, I do programming, and hopefully sooner or later, I'll be able to stream 3D modeling to all of you. That being said, I'm also gonna do a makeup what is it? A makeup art stream on Friday. Just a makeup for just not doing art as like as I said I would for today. Anywho, I must say again, thank you everyone for joining today's stream, and thank you everyone for watching today's YouTube VOD. And that being said, I love all my blitzies, and I gotta get going now. Bye bye, matane.